What's up, guys? Welcome back to Big Yogi'Z Garage. Today I got Eli Toledo.
What up?
What's up, Eli?
Chilling, man, chilling.
Welcome to Big Yogi'Z Garage. Thank you so much for coming on the show and giving me a chance to interview you, man.
I appreciate you having me on, man. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah. Okay. So I've been friends with you on Facebook for a while, and I follow some of your pages. But I wanted to get to know you, like, tell me a little bit about yourself and tell me about, like, where did you grow up at and kind of like the kind of stuff that you're into.
Yeah, born and raised in Toledo. Grew up by Toledo Hospital, Ottawa Park area. Ended up moving downtown, living in an apartment on Broadway when I was 19. And got a job down here at the Oliver House. Was working as a bartender there, and that led me on a whole journey of food and beverage. Landed me as a concierge at a hotel, landed me as a manager of another bar and restaurant. And just kind of over the years, I've just been at times booking entertainment, sometimes making drinks, and it's just kind of been a cool experience.
Yeah. Okay, so why is Toledo so important to you? Because you go by Eli Toledo and all your pages, and not only that, but you also have pages that have to do with cool stuff in Toledo, stuff like that.
Yeah, so I guess one of my pages that is going on right now is Cool Stuff Toledo, Ohio. You can type that into Facebook, and really a bunch of stuff will pop up. History of Toledo will pop up. Cool local events pop up when you do that. And so I just kind of, there was some talk, like, sometimes people hate where they come from, you know what I mean? Like, this place isn't worth, talking about or whatever, but in reality, it's what you make it, you know what I mean? So it's like, there is cool stuff, you know what I mean? So let's talk about it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so, okay, so you grew, when you were growing up, not growing up, but you worked in a whole bunch of local bars around here?
Yeah.
And is that like what gave you that passion about Toledo and seeing all the cool stuff that people really actually do around here?
Yeah, I guess it's kind of been a trip, because working in that industry, when you're face to face with people all the time, you're dealing with people of all varieties, because everybody ends up congregating in a bar or restaurant because everybody needs to eat and drink eventually. So it's kind of been an experience of, like, meeting people from all walks of life. And I remember vividly one time he ended up being a psychiatrist or something, but he came up to me and he said, and he ordered like a triple shot or whatever, and he was like, he mentioned you can't save everybody. So I was just like, wow, you had a rough day today, you know what I mean? And I'm sure it is kind of hard dealing with stuff like that. But then you deal with, it could be lawyers, police officers, other bartenders, the homeless guy that's chilling too long, you know what I mean? You get all walks of life,
Yeah, it's kind of like having a podcast like every 5 minutes. Because ever since I started this podcast, I get to sit down with all kinds of different people, have a conversation. But when you're a bartender, you're sitting there having conversations with people.
Yeah, your job is essentially to have a conversation with people, and then it's a tipped position. So then you're trying to provide good service so that you can make some additional revenue. You know what I mean? So that's a whole part of it too.
Yeah, absolutely. So so I started, like, somehow, some way, I started following one of your pages or something like that. And so tell me a little bit about your pages and, like, how did you get into that Facebook page group and all that stuff? Tell me how that works. I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of been a journey. I think it all started, I guess, I've been using, like, Facebook and social media and watching it develop since it's been out. But I mean, I've kind of stuck with Facebook as a marketing tool, and now in a lot of ways it guides us. It guides us in a lot of ways, and it's a self-promotional tool. A lot of people are using, like, your Facebooks as a way of self-promotion. So during the pandemic time, I told my lady that I said, hey, I'm going to try to be an influencer. I'm going to try to be a YouTuber. I'm going to try, all these other people are showing their talents and doing things. And so I said I wanted to do that. So then I began to just try to create cool content for people to see. And then that's kind of where the Cool Stuff Toledo came up. And then a while back, kind of for me being a little bit of a history buff and doing some research and being in part of some groups, some Toledo groups, I was recruited for this historic Toledo then and now group. Downtown Toledo has everything, and that's got 17,000 people now, you know what I mean? In 10 months, you know what I mean? That's a pretty good following. So that's been a good way of sharing some positive Toledo stuff that might get missed in that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And then you work for the city paper now?
Yep.
You got, is that a new position that you got?
Yeah, I just took a job at Toledo City Paper. I work in sales and advertising. And that's kind of been a journey in itself too, because, you know, it's like just learning about an entirely different industry that still involves, you know, business to business relationships and, you know, development and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay, so the Facebook, okay, going back to the Facebook thing. The group thing, so you actually have you have like a little podcast too, right? You have something like that?
So, yeah, so
I've seen something where you interviewed the guy that I had on, the painter.
What was it now?
Did you interview the painter that I have on, ABM?
Yeah.
Art by
Has he
Mingo.
been on here already?
Yeah, he's been on here.
Oh man, we did talk about this.
Art by Mingo.
Yes. Yeah. No. So yeah, I hit him up because we ended up connecting over a commercial for a local restaurant, and so we did this whole thing where we hopped in the car and they were filming the thing.
Oh, okay.
And so we just linked up and we were friends on Facebook from this group Toledo Creatives, which is a fantastic group for connecting, you know, local Toledo creatives together.
Yeah.
So we just connected on that, and I said, hey, you'd be a good person to interview because I think like what you're doing, you know, you're on a journey, and I'm like, I'm on a journey as well. Yeah. This is part of the journey, you know what I mean? So, and then hearing that guy's perspective on life, and we had a great full-length conversation about life and the struggles and COVID and unemployment, and you know, and it's just like getting down to the nitty-gritty, the stuff that everybody's going through right now that might, you know, everybody's turning on the news like what's something to be hopeful about, or, you know, something that's refreshing, you know what I mean? And so I think shows like yours, you know, kind of give off of that space.
Yeah, that's that. So are you going to do that more often or what?
I'd like to. I'd like to develop it. I'd like to be a part of more kind of video casts and that kind of thing. And I guess, you know, a lot of people are doing it, and so I guess there is some hesitation there, you know what I mean? But at the same time, everybody has their own identity.
Of course, and that's what I'm pushing is you should have your own podcast. You should have your own whatever. You can call it your podcast, you can call it your YouTube channel, you can call it whatever.
Yeah,
I think this is a perfect time to, because you can, like, especially you say you're on this journey to have this. And like I didn't see the whole thing, but I seen like a little clip on your Facebook or something. But like if you would have repeatedly putting them on there, I probably would eventually check them on there and look at it all and stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of part of the development and kind of seeing, and like as you know, it's like, you know, you put the full length stuff on YouTube, you know what I mean, and that's where everybody goes to look. Now, if it's already passed, they end up going on YouTube and say, "Hey, what was that thing that I, you know?"
Yeah. No.
And so just kind of like, I don't know. I'd like to do more interviews, and I would like to talk about some edgy stuff because I'm like, hey, you know, that podcast, great. Yeah. You guys are talking about some international stuff. You guys are talking about some local foo-foo stuff, you know what I mean? Yeah. And not to say it's foo-foo, but it's just like...
Yeah, it's like this whole genre is like a different thing.
Everybody has their own identity. This is strictly positive and PG. This one could be political, or it could be, I don't know, you know what I mean? I think...
it could be anything. It could be anything. You could have your own... It's just your own take on it. Your own view... with your Toledo vibe, your Toledo theme, Eli Toledo, you can, you know what I mean?
Right.
With your own your vibe to it, with your own look to it, and then you can have your own spin to it. You know what I mean? Like mine, I'm still trying to figure out the whole thing. At first, I was like, you know, doing more like something like this, like free flowing, just going. Then I started like planning out questions, and then I was like, and then I didn't like that. So now, and I keep thinking about changing the name, changing the look, because it's just like you just start it with your view, the whichever way you think, the way like I thought it looked nice, whatever you guys did. You guys were like at your office or something.
Yeah.
You have an office around here?
Well, you know, I do. I had to switch locations. A new opportunity popped up, and I jumped on it, and I'm grateful for that opportunity. I just couldn't maintain it, and it was like a kind of a lesson in, well, if I'm going to occupy this space, I got to generate revenue, and you know, as you know, it's like with something like this, new business usually doesn't break even for a while. You know what I mean? So it's a work in progress, but we volunteer our time and create value out of nothing that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you get office space for like some of your time at work or something.
Yeah. So right now I got this project. It's a commercial space that's in the family. It's the Ohio Plate Glass building. It's right at the base of the high level bridge, and it's a good rental opportunity for artists, photographers, or even podcasters. I was thinking to rent out an office there, you know, just because we're kind of trying to use that space for something that I think the people at Toledo are looking for. You know, some of these spaces are out of people's budgets, and a lot of people are startups, and you know, resources are limited, and you know, groceries are expensive right now. You know what I mean? So it's like trying to ask somebody for, you know what I mean, for help right now is a little bit hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's crazy. Like the government right now, like the whole system, I don't understand, because the stock market is like doing great. It's like beautiful picture. But like, bro, people, I don't know how people are paying their, because I know that I got this business and I'm struggling, but I could not take a week off. If I took a whole week off my business, we would be so backed up that it would be like, I couldn't figure it out. So even with me having a good business and I'm steadily working, I don't understand how people like, just like the single mom, you know what I mean? Like the single mom that works like at the, you know, just like the factory. How is she paying a $1,200 rent, buying groceries, paying for the kids' shoes? Oh my God, dude, it's nuts, dude.
Can't imagine. Can't imagine.
Dude, it's crazy like how expensive things are right now, dude. When you go grocery shopping, like, if you have $100, you basically not getting nothing.
You ain't getting nothing. You getting some deodorant. You getting some. I mean, you know, God forbid it's $20 one item, $30 one item.
What happened? Do you know, like, what happened to our economy? Like how did we get? I don't know. I don't even know anything about the economy. But how did we get? Okay, the other day I was walking through the aisle, right, of the candy bars when I was walking out of Walmart, and a freaking Snickers is $2.39. And when we was kids, bro, those things were like 59 cents, just a regular Snickers.
That I don't understand. I took one. I ended up going to trade school, which gave me an associate's degree, and I took one business class, and that was my favorite class because I was like, I'm into it. And it was so funny because in that class, I remember them saying, they're like, how many of you want to be a manager? And I was the only one who raised my hand, and everybody else looked at me like I was the enemy because I was like, I was like, okay.
Oh, you want to be the boss?
okay. But it was so funny that I don't know. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, because like some people don't like the authorities and stuff. They probably looked at you like, holy shit, what's this? This guy's gonna be the boss. He wants to be the.
Yeah, he wants to be the boss. He's like, no, I want to get out of the trenches. You know what I mean? Like, you know, as soon as possible. Like, but I'm not talking about skipping steps. I'm talking about like whatever it is we gotta know how to do here. You know what I mean? Like, let's.
Yeah, I used to work at the casino, dude, and I started working at the casino because I wanted to get away from all the street life and a bunch of shit that I was into. And I started working at the casino, and I worked in the EVS department cleaning toilets, cleaning the slot machines. I'm talking about bad shit. Like, dude, like one time One time there was this like this thing called blowout. They would be like, they call me in the mic, Yogi, blowout in bathroom 2. A blowout is when someone's playing a slot machine and they're playing it and playing it, but they think they're gonna hit it next, so they don't want to go, so they're gonna wait and wait and wait. So they wait, but then they run to the bathroom and then they open the stall and they actually blow shit all over the walls and the ceiling and the toilet. And then we would have to go in with the hose. Dude, it was so bad. We would have blowouts. We would have old people shitting their pants. We would have, there was this one lady, she was bleeding through her dress and she had blood on a bunch of all the seats. And we had to go through and look at the seats and clean the blood off of them.
Damn, son.
Yeah, bro. Like there was fights every night. I worked third shift. It'd be drunk people at the casino every night. Everybody was drunk. But this one, okay, so where I was getting at is I would do my job so good, bro, that the other people would come and be like, Yogi, why are you doing your job so good? And I used to tell them, because I don't want to be in the cleaning department for the rest of the time I work here, bro.
There you go.
And then what ended up happening, and I ended up working my way up to the poker room, and I started working in the poker room and shit like that.
Nice.
But like, who wants to just go and like just do the standard and just stay in the same place?
It was kind of a peculiar thing, and I was trying to remember why I said that, but we were talking about why groceries were expensive, and it's like some shit you just can't explain, I guess. But that, I don't know, everything got got messed up when I don't know, COVID kind of happened. It changed some things, like, well, let's be safe. And then you had people fighting, family members fighting with each other. Did you get vaccinated? Did you get vaccinated? I had people coming for me, and you know what I mean? And I was like, don't trip. It's an experiment. You know what I mean? And I was just like, it's the same thing I feel about most things. I feel like as long as you're not hurting nobody, you should be able to do what most things within your body, and you know what I mean, all that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I believe that too, because even when all that happened, I was a cleaning business, right? Mm-hmm. So like the first 2 weeks, yeah, sure, everything was locked down. Nobody wanted me to clean. But like after like 2 or 3 weeks, people were like, hey, I need you to clean, because people started getting nervous. So I started going to clean, and like to me, I wasn't stressed about it at all. Mm-hmm. Like, because I was like always masked up and I was cleaning. I never got sick or nothing. I did good. I didn't get stressed out about it at all during the pandemic or anything like that. Did you get sick?
I ended up I got COVID once, mm-hmm. and I took a test and it confirmed that I had COVID, and it really did feel like I got hit like by a semi truck. I was put down for like 3 days. I was feeling like real bad, and then like 2 more days after that it was like residual. Yeah. But here's the funny thing about that from my perspective was because at this time I had just got done doing electrical stuff, and I was working at a tree company, cutting down trees and stuff, and I had just got back into bartending. So long story short, I'm working at this tree place and bartending. Then COVID hit, and so the bar shut down per the government or whatever. So everybody got some bread for unemployment. But the tree place didn't shut down. So I kept working at the tree place, you know what I mean, with like 50% business, because then now other clients are not doing their projects now. So it just feels like I'm working, I'm getting less money and I'm not getting cut a check. And like these other people are like off and getting the whole check. And I was like, damn, this is a situation where it's motherfuckers like me that want to not work to get the thing, we can't have that situation. Can't have multiples of me. You know what I'm taking the bread, because I said then we're gonna, so I
felt like that too, dude, because I was working the whole time. I was cleaning houses, like cleaning my ass off, and I was making money cleaning it, but I was watching people getting PPP loans, and people were getting all this money. People was getting $10,000 from the government, and I didn't qualify for none of that shit. I tried the one loan from like a PP for like the business loan or something. Right. But I was like, I didn't even know how to do it right, so I don't think we qualified for anything. But I seen a lot of people creating businesses that they didn't even have, people were like, all of a sudden they had barber shops, but they weren't even barbers. Did you hear about that happening?
Yeah, I heard. There's a bunch of shit that I feel like I heard about. Like, yeah,
there's a bunch of people people just like trying to come up with schemes and scams to get like money. Like all of a sudden, this girl, she has 7 kids. She used to claim 1, now she claims 7. So instead of getting 130 food stamps, she's getting 730 food stamps.
Yeah,
and then that's just like. How do you think all these people? The real estate. Why are all these landlords charging $1,000, $1,200 for a freaking house on the east side that's all run down? You know why?
Why?
I don't know. Do you know why?
Because shit's fucked up. I mean, I don't know, man. Here's the thing. Like, here's a word.
Tell me what your opinion is, or whatever.
Well, I guess. I don't know why. I guess there's a lot of factors that go into it. It's like what they can recoup from their investment. It's all about like money. It's like, well, I could buy this building. It's worth a fuck. You guys all think it's worth a fuck, but it's $6 million in addition to some shit I got to do to it. So it's just like, it doesn't make sense. So then you got people that, I don't know why stuff is expensive. Here's a funny word, dynamic pricing. I learned this in working in the hotel. So like, a bunch of rooms are unoccupied, right? And so the prices are a certain rate. But then as it fills up, the prices go up because there's less rooms. It's like the same shit. I think they do this with flights, and they do this with some other stuff. And I think it's funny because it's the same damn room, but... And nothing's happened other than more rooms getting sold.
The fuller it gets, the more it costs. Oh, okay.
It's so weird to me. So
that's probably the same thing with the real estate. There's probably not enough. The investors already, they don't have that many more houses to buy, so they're increasing the rents to try to make as much. Because the thing is, they only bought the, like if you look at the average East Side house, the ones they bought like in 2008, a lot of people bought them for $8,000. They bought it for like $10,000. I know a landlord that has 430 properties. All of them he bought for like less than $20,000, $30,000. But now he can charge $1,200 a month. He's already made all the money back years ago. You know what I mean? But he just rents rising. He could be charging $600 a month and still make a killing.
Here's another crazy thing is like, all right, so you want this neighborhood to turn around and you want less bad, whatever, but whatever bad is, you know what I mean? Whether it's like crime or drugs or just poverty.
Yeah.
Is that bad? I don't know. You know what I mean? But let's just say that, what are you going to do? What are you going to do with that stuff? You know what I mean? Like, so I think what I'm getting at is if they charge low, you're going to get a certain amount of people that live there. But if you raise the rent high, then you'll get those types of people. But you got to sell the neighborhood and attract those people there. I couldn't believe that certain bars would charge more money for particular types of liquor for a certain reason. You know what I mean? And it's like, come on, man.
It's like, what is the word, genderfied or something?
It's something like that. And I would just like, or like not carry something, and
they don't carry something because they don't want that type of a crowd or something,
right?
Or they charge more for that liquor because they don't want that crowd. That's bullshit.
That's bullshit.
But that's crazy that people do that.
Yeah.
So that's probably that's kind of like what's happening. But the thing is, rents are going up everywhere. So where the hell do they want the people that don't have money to live? That's the thing.
Where do they go, right?
Yeah, and you know what else? Another thing about real estate that I'm kind of seeing a lot of like the nice houses, like the rich people are buying them and renting them on Airbnbs.
Dude, there's a whole thing. That's the move. That's the move in a lot of ways because Airbnb popped off and like it's like it is a good avenue. But here's the crazier thing is like I know a lot more people. It's like, or at least it's been said in the news. A lot less people are buying stuff. They're like leasing cars. They're renting They're renting their phones, you know what I mean? They're all paying in the system kind of thing. And I guess what's going on is these big companies, real estate companies or banks or whatever you want to call it, are buying up large properties of land. And so then now we have to rent. and you'll never own because it'll never be sold.
Yeah.
So like the days of like going and conquering some fucking land is like out. It's been out. You know, we've been not doing that. You know what I mean? But it's just crazy to me to think, from the historical standpoint, looking at these buildings, go to the Old West End and look how big those houses are. Look how big their yards are.
Yeah.
And then now look at new stuff. It's all small, jam. Yeah. And if nobody owns it outright, I mean, what are you really going to do with your itty bitty little piece of land? If I guess the goal is to be self-sustainable, you know what I mean, or like have your little garden or whatever, you know what I mean.
You need something. Yeah, man, this shit's getting crazy, dude. Like that's why I think it's important for us to have like a little platform like this, because like one day I feel like everything's gonna look at what Amazon's doing, right? They're buying a bunch of land, and they're buying a bunch of land all over the United States, because I guess his goal is to get you like the package in like 30 minutes or 3 minutes, or he wants to get the building so close where he can like bring a drone to your house. So he's buying all these things. So there's going to be stores as big as Walmart, right? But no one's even going to be able to go there. It's just going to be drones coming out of there delivering shit, right? Yeah. So everything's going to come to you. People, DoorDash, you can order anything you want. You can, anything you want from Amazon, anything you want from food. People are working from home. A lot of people aren't conversating with real human beings no more. Right. So I think it's important to have like a little platform. So like, you know, you can do yours once a month, or I do mine every week. So every week I conversate with a person. I get a real life person, real life conversation, get to meet somebody. And I think it would be good for every human being to have a platform like this. So not only that, to conversate with a person, but let's say I can point people into the directions of things that I start, like my cleaning business. Hey guys, I got a cleaning business, Toledo's Best Cleaning. If anybody needs a cleaning business, if anybody needs anything clean, call Toledo's Best Cleaning. Yeah. You can point them to your, your businesses, to your things. The bigger you get, you can start having more businesses. You can point them at the right direction. I got sponsors. I can point them at my sponsors. You know, Prime. One day, hopefully, I can get like a big sponsor like Prime Drink. Yeah, right. Yeah. So like, I think it's a great idea to have anything like this, and I think it's the future. The future is everyone's gonna have their own little platform, their own little thing. And not everybody's willing to take it to this degree, because you know it takes work, and you put out weekly, stuff, and you got to deal with the editing and the setup, and so not everybody's gonna do it. But whether they're running it or here, it's the opportunity to express themselves, which is like, I think that's what people need more of, is like the ability to express themselves. Because everybody's got feelings, and not everybody gets to share that, I mean, and, Yeah, everybody, I feel like that too. Like everybody has a story, everybody wants to be heard, everybody has like, something, everybody has like maybe a dream or a goal or something. Like what was like, okay, so what was your, like, when you told your girl, you told her after the pandemic, you told her, you want to start, doing social media and all that kind of stuff. What was your ultimate goal to do that kind of stuff? We don't know what the goal is, but I think the goal is to make something of yourself. You know what I mean? And what that means, I don't know. Yeah. But like, when it feels right, it feels right. And I guess I felt like, and I feel like I'm not there yet. So I need to keep trying to get to wherever it is. And then it's like, what do you want to be? Do you want to be a radio show host? You're a host of a show. You know what I mean? Like, well, I don't like titles. I want to be whatever the fuck it is that I am right in that moment. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to sell myself short. So if podcasts happen, if I write books, or if I do, write a song or whatever, I think what I care about now is that
right now in this moment is like not anything that's irrelevant. There's some kind of big stuff going on. I mean, in the world kind of right now.
Yeah.
And a lot of like, I feel like my people or people that are similar to me are going through it. And it's like, we need to maintain and figure out how to hang on a bit longer so that we can get through these times and into some better times or whatever it is.
Tell me, but can you tell me a little bit about what you're going through with that? Like, tell me a little bit about what you're referring to.
So I guess,
if you don't mind.
Yeah, no. I guess, you know, from a personal perspective, I've always struggled with, I'm trying to be a part of a good team. I'm trying to do good work. I'm trying to do good things. And some of those things are small, medium, and large things, you know. So I've been always trying to just work with a good group to do that. And along the way, I've worked for a dozen people and then some. And the problem with a person like me is like, you know, you look at a resume and you say very diverse. How long was he there? What position did he elevate to? You know, and all those things. And I think that that's unfortunate when people don't really know what happened. You know what I mean? Like, pay was short, schedule was fucked up, boss was an alcoholic. You know what I mean? You know, people don't really. So I don't know. It's kind of, I talk about that because I've struggled to find my place in, not only in town, but like, you know, my place in the world too, you know what I mean? Where it's like, you know, what are my talents really good for if I don't do anything with them or if I don't share them? You know, I guess I could just paint to paint, you know what I mean? It's like I had a conversation with somebody who was with the art gallery and I said, you know, you're not understanding why you're not selling paintings, but are you in the business of selling paintings or are you in the business of painting paintings? Because you might just like painting, you know, you're not good at selling, or you're too attached to your painting to sell it, you know. So, you know, at one point in time, I've struggled with depression. Over the years, I've dealt with anxiety. I've been treating myself with marijuana the whole time, you know what I mean, since I've been 16. So I've been promoting, you know, pro-marijuana, you know, for a long time, and pro-choice in a lot of things. And, you know, I don't know. I was looking for work and I had something say like, would you like a AI to review your resume? And I'm like, no, thank you. You know what I mean? I don't want to get tossed in a bucket just because, you know what I mean? You don't know me, you know what I mean? So, I mean, the world is kind of changing and I feel like, you know, people are, I don't know, man. I mean, what are we going to do? I mean, we need people to build, we kind of need people to build stuff right now, but we're not building anything like we did in 1900. Like all of the shit that we building now is not really that sweet. So it almost seems like we're going, like, what are we doing technology-wise? We had electric rails and shit, you know, back 100 years ago here in Toledo. You know, we had and then we had all this stuff. So I don't know. I mean, as long as we're moving in the right direction, but that's what I mean.
Yeah, but I kind of see what you're talking about. I kind of see it because if they're right about that, there was a meteor hit. There's a theory, I forgot what the theory is called, but they found elephants or whatever, and they were stuck in the mud, and all they found was from the feet down of the elephant, right? It's like some theory. They said that everything went away. The only thing that they left was the pyramids because they were made from stone. It doesn't matter what technology we had. Like you said, the computer, we could have had Wi-Fi back then. We don't know who built them damn pyramids. Right. But everything, even the animals just disappeared. Right. Whatever hit so hard that it disappeared. Right. Our internet, all this, if electricity went out, we would be freaking lost. Yep. Because we wouldn't know all this AI, all this Wi-Fi, all these phones, all the lights. We would be lost. Yep. Because we have no struggle at all. So I know what you mean. All this, we're letting electronics take over. But what if electricity doesn't work one day? What, our cars are going to be electric? We won't be able to go nowhere. Our phones, everything, we won't be able to go nowhere. Some people will be lost. They won't even know how to build a house or fire or nothing because they're dependent on their phone or dependent. Is that what you're kind of like talking about?
Yeah. I mean, that's that because I mean, look at this day and age. I guess like my entire life after high school was put on Facebook, and then I started a job that I didn't want to get, see pictures of me drinking in high school. So I deleted the whole Facebook. All those memories are gone. It kind of makes sense to me why a civilization like Atlantis or whatever could disappear. Because what if they were so technologically advanced that they forgot to carve shit in stone like us? You know what I mean? The shit don't last. There's been 5 mass extinctions, I guess, in the course of the Earth, where 75% of life has been wiped out. So, I guess I was reading this article talking about a solar flare that happened in the 1800s, like 1850 or something like that. We had the telegraph technology at the time, transmitting, through that. And I guess the solar flare messed up our electric grid, and it messed up the telegraph system at the time. And they said that this could happen again, and that could affect our power grid and stuff. And what are people, when we can't buy, I guess, use our cards and, stuff. And what's the system? What's the procedure? You know what I mean?
Like, where's our money going to come from if like the banks, like say the banks was like, we don't know how much money you had. Be like, well, we need that money. Like, no, sorry, there's something happened. We would be freaking lost because everybody depending their money in the bank system. Nobody has a vault like me, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Not everyone has a vault like me. And then what you're saying, that's amazing. I never thought of that because I always thought I'm using this podcast as me carving my name in the stone. But what if all that shit goes away? Nobody would even know Yogi existed.
Right.
Nobody would even know Eli had a Facebook page, because if Facebook was gone, if Facebook group, like we wouldn't even know anything. If all that shit went away, nobody would even know we exist, because we're not. Oh, we should do that. We should start carving our name in that.
Yeah, right. But yeah, we have to memorialize ourselves in other ways, or accept that we'll be forgotten. I mean, I'm not suggesting anybody be like, remember me type shit, but it's just funny to me that I think that, very easily all of this could be gone and there'd be nothing to show for it. No pyramid, skyscrapers are gone. You know what I mean? All the houses that we grew up in, everything would be gone, but not to take it there, but
it could be, dude.
and it's not that we could do anything about it really, because we're on the, whatever 99% of people, you know what I mean? But it's just crazy to think about the real life stuff that could happen that we shouldn't really be worried about. We should be focusing on the day, what we can change and not change, right? You know what I mean? We should be in that place, but at the same time, if we have the power to vote or to speak up in this time, I feel like we should be doing that. You know what I mean?
For sure, and try to figure out who to really. The thing is, who the hell do you vote for? It's a bunch of fucking weirdos over there. It's like no regular person that just thinks regular could just go up there and be like, hey, I want to be your president. Why does it have to be a bunch of like crazies, man?
Because we talked about marketing and go like, well, if you want to get access to that many Americans, you're going to have to get probably a couple $1 million. You're probably going to need some investors. Here are the big players. Work with them or not, or don't get voted for, So it's like, here's what trips me out. You heard about the Epstein shit, right?
Yeah. The list came out, right?
Well, I'm not following it to a T. Like, I can't wait till it come out. But
me neither.
If I hear about it,
I heard the list came out though.
I gotta look at the list. But I think I looked it up one time, but I don't know where.
I heard the list came out like the other day.
Here's my thing. We were just talking about it earlier today. Like we were talking, it's just like, okay, well, if that list comes out and you got, Trump's running again. If Trump's on that list, not a good look. Right? Given the circumstances of what he was dealing with, the Epstein shit. But then if Bill Clinton was on that list too, that's fucked. That's completely fucked. That means all of you motherfuckers can't be trusted.
All of them, dude.
And at that point, it's like, well, what are you going to do about it? It's like, well, I don't know what we can do about it, but that's fucked up. We see you.
Yeah, dude, it's a bunch of people on there. I can think, even Oprah's on that damn list.
So many people.
But I mean, they probably, not everybody probably did something crazy, but The list was just like people traveling to his island. I'm sure not every time they went over there, they probably fucking did some crazy shit.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know anything about that shit.
I don't know either. I
I doubt Oprah's going to Epstein Island to go rape some girls.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Do you think?
I don't know. If she's on the list,
I know, but that sounds like
suspect.
I know.
If you're on the list, you're suspect.
You hear it here first. Oprah's on the list. Now, we don't even know if she's even on the list.
Yeah, but
I guess that's what they're saying.
But that's what Cat Williams was saying. What he goes everything will be
crazy.
revealed in 2024, and it's like, I wonder how many people are going to jump on that and say, hey, I'm willing to say that is true, and we should say that's fucked up,
Well, I mean, that shit does happen, bro. Favoritism, like you said earlier, we were talking about, you said that certain bars will raise the prices on Hennessy because they don't want certain people there. Certain bars don't have a certain liquor, so that's the same thing he said. He was saying like there was a set of comedians that were like in a little group that they were like, as long as you guys do what we say, you guys do this, we're going to make sure you guys have a great career. But then there were some comedians like him and Dave Chappelle that weren't going with the, the corporate.
Wasn't with the program.
They weren't with the program, so they didn't get all those deals. And he said, all he was saying is like, look at them. They're wearing dresses. They're on these movies. They're doing this. They're wearing the clean cut. None of them got braids. Like, they had to do like a cookie cutter to get all those shows. He also said Kevin Hart came from New York to LA. All of a sudden he has a show, a movie, specials. He said, where they do that at? He said, there's never been another Kevin Hart. There never will be, because he said that he was a plant.
Right. I mean, I don't put it past, and if you're afraid to talk about it, you're suspect, because it's like, if you were guilty, you would have no problem talking about it, unless it was like the possibility of it being rigged. Like, that's the same thing as like court or whatever, where it's like, okay, well, evidence suggests that you killed that guy. And it's like, but I didn't. So I'm willing to sit here and tell you I didn't. But then they're like, but it looks like you did. And it's like, well, doesn't it mean something that I'm here and I'm not guilty, and I promise you and I swear to God and I know for sure?
Imagine that, bro.
Like,
God, that would be horrible.
Like Shutter Island or whatever, like,
They're like, no, we found a hair that puts you there, and you're like, no, fuck, I never did. That would be horrible.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So it's just like what I in school, this guy said, this quote sticks with me. He goes like, the guy with the best paperwork always wins. Think about it. If you got evidence, that's your proof. If there's no evidence, whatever. So he was talking about taking receipts. Like, I was here, this happened, blah, blah, blah. If they don't have a receipt and you have a receipt, you look better,
No, he said a lot of shit. And then I seen another YouTube channel where they were actually took the interview, right? And when he would say something, they would fact check it. The guy he was recording it, and he was taking what Cat Williams said. He was like, oh, and they're all wearing dresses, and Kevin Hart wore a dress. And he's like, hold on, Kevin Hart didn't wear a dress. And he goes, did Kevin Hart? And he found it. Then he would say something else. He would find it. He kept fact checking Cat Williams, and he kept getting Cat Williams right, bro. Like, a lot of the things. He said he read 3,000 books before he was like, but he also said that he grew up Jehovah's Witness, right? That means that he grew up in the church. He said that his mom and dad were really big in church, and that meant that he was like, had to go and read, and write, and he had to like be on a stage, like, because if them kind of churches, you got to go on the stage and do parts and go preach and go knock door to door. There's a lot, because my mom's Jehovah's Witness, so I know. You got to learn how to read and write. And I guess he was like pretty genius or something. He said he graduated by the time he was 13. I don't know if that's all true. If he's a comedian, he might be blowing this shit up. A lot of stuff is.
And I guess it's like, it is what, he can say whatever he wants to say, and then we can fact check all this stuff. And he might have misspoke here and there. I don't really know the guy. The same way as I don't know what's going on in Australia right now, and I'm just hear about it, or Ukraine or anywhere in the world, What I really don't know if kangaroos exist if I never petted one, right? I don't really know.
That is true.
So that's what's crazy to me is like, looking back in time and doing some history research and kind of like looking at some things and said, to myself, like a lot of stuff has changed. Like our entire lifetime has been what it is. You know what I mean? We've had like pretty much like your televisions and stuff. Most of the common things, we've seen stuff develop, but it wasn't like a brand new, it's not like we're going back to gold or something like that, or gold to dollars. But now we're getting into a situation where like it's all funny money, because it's like if it's all digital currency, that means you can add and subtract whenever you want. There's no tally. There's no. So I don't know. I don't like it.
I don't like it either. Sometimes you look at your statement, you're like, damn, I spent that much money. You can't, if you don't see it physically go, it's like you just put your card.
Yeah. We were talking about, kind of doing things to prevent certain other things. And so I go to park the other day downtown, and I realized they cut the meters off, right? And I'm like, okay. And I look around, I see a box that says with a P on it, it's the parking box. And I'm just kind of was thinking like, is this going to become, you have to have a phone and QR code to do this, and the coins are going to be no more, and the dollar bills are going to be no more. And all I thought was, I don't got it in, sometimes you got it in the bank, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you're a little bit worried about it, even if it's just parking, you know what I mean? I want to use the quarter in my car, you know what I mean? And it was a peculiar thing. So then I go, okay, well, I think it did accept, and I had the money and I did the app or whatever, but it had no parking number. It asked me for a parking number. I said, well, there's no parking number. They cut the thing off. There's no spray paint here. There's spray paint over there, but not right here. So I said, fuck it. You know what I mean? Like throw it on if I get a ticket, I get a ticket. We'll see what happens.
Fight it or something.
It's crazy. I don't know.
Yeah, that's crazy. A lot of times they'll say you'll walk all the way to the thing, right? The parking thing. And it'll say, tell me your license plate number. And you're like, fuck, I don't even know my license plate number. You gotta walk all the way back, take a picture of it, come back. Yep. Dude, that shit sucks. They're going, okay, another time I parked in Detroit, and the same thing. It was just a QR code. It said park $20. I took the QR code, boom. Took a picture of it, paid it $20. The next day, they sent me something. They said that was a $30 ticket because no. I did the thing. I took a picture of it and everything. Did my license plate, everything. The next day when I went out there, because I was at a hotel, there was a ticket, and the ticket was just $30. It says I didn't pay the ticket. So I looked at it. They had wrote the wrong parking lot or something, and they gave me a ticket. I had to call, and I had to take a picture, all kinds of shit, man.
This is the shit that hangs everybody up. It's just like, what kind of world did we design here? You know what I mean? Where it's like, we're worried about all this shit.
No, invitations. Do you know about invitations now? Invitations aren't even like how before, how you used to like send them like real nice. Now they just have like a picture, and in the back there's a QR code. There's no date, there's no time. You do the QR code, it takes you to a website. On that website is dope because it tells you like how the couple met, about every single person, the date, the time, everything, you know what I mean? Right. There's like a whole story you can put on it. But everything's going QR code.
I mean, and I'm not even, it would be foolish to say like, to stop progress, you know what I mean? Or be like, you know what I mean? Like still striving for better, you know what I mean? Like it's all an experiment, with a lot of this stuff, and we're just trying to get there. But what was crazy to me is going like, none of these people have lived in 2024. Everybody's experiencing 2024 for the first time. Yeah. Our government doesn't know what they're going to do this year. They don't know what we're going to do. You know what I mean? And nobody knows what anybody's really doing because we're all experiencing the same thing right now. You know what I mean?
I never really thought about it like that.
Somebody pointed out to me that everybody's faking it. And I said, what do you mean everybody's faking it? He goes, think about it. He goes, you think a governor's ever been governor? President's ever been president? They're just doing it for the first time. And I go, damn.
Yeah, it's true though. Because I was like, I want to be a podcaster, right? And I just like, fuck it, I'm going to be a podcaster. I'm going to be a YouTuber. So now I'm a YouTuber and a podcaster. People come up to me and be like, what's up, Yogi? I seen your podcast. You the podcast guy. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Right. But before that, I was just a cleaning guy. I was cleaning. I used to clean houses. And then you looked at me as the cleaning guy. Now people are looking at me as the podcast guy. Right. Some people know I do both. Yeah. Some people think about me as I always work out. Some people will see me and be like, oh man, you just left the gym, because I work out a lot too. Mm-hmm. So another thing I notice is you're a different person for every single person that sees you. Like, I have an opinion of you that, like, Bob right here will have a whole different opinion of who you are. You know what I mean? Like, right. So there's millions of opinions of who Eli Toledo is. Right. Like, every single person that knows you, like, your wife might be like, oh, he's great, he's lovely, or he might, you know what I mean? And your mom, he's like, oh, he's the best. But then, your cousin that doesn't really like you, he's an asshole. I can think like, oh, he's a guy from the internet. You know what I mean? I don't know you besides that. Right. So it's crazy. So many different opinions of you through every single person. Yeah. That's why you can never make everyone happy.
You can't. I mean, you can't. I mean, I think, trying to get along with people is important, but trying to make everybody happy is impossible,
Yeah, because people talk shit. When I was fat, people used to be like, like, oh, man, you need to lose some weight, man. You get a little fat. But then I started working out a lot, and I got at one point I got real skinny because I wasn't lifting yet. And a few people was like, bro, you need to chill out, man. You're getting sick. You look like you're getting sick. And I was like, well, I'm in the process of losing weight and gaining muscle. I wanted to like recomp my body. Yeah. Instead of being like fat, I wanted to have like wide shoulders and muscles and stuff. Which I used to be like this, but then I started just hitting the gym more often. Right. Because I had like a look that I wanted to go for,
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I wanted to change. And there's another thing too. Right now, there's a lot of studies that show that not having enough muscle is an organ in our body, right? Mm. And not having enough muscle is dictates our health. Mm. So it's finding that people that are like bad in health are like not like, because the thing is, after 40, we start losing a percentage of our muscle every year, a little bit, right? Mm. If we're not some kind of, you don't have to do weights, but you can do some resistance, just muscle, like rubber bands, whatever, push-ups, dips, anything like that, because you want to reverse that. You want to gain a little bit of muscle every year instead of losing it. So right. I've learned that kind of stuff. So that's the kind of stuff that I kind of want to teach people, help people like work out, but not by like telling people to work, just by doing it by example. Yeah. Just me working out, people seeing like, oh shit, Yogi, 2 years ago I was 300 pounds. Now I'm 225, fit, have more active life. So I just want to show people by example. This podcast, I said, hey, one day I'm going to start a podcast, and I started it just by example. I want to show people that it's possible, man. We can all have all this stuff. We can all have anything we want as long as we put in the work and we consistently do it. It's all about getting our ass up and doing it every day, regardless what it is. Working out, working, posting your thing that you do for the Facebook. You got to make sure you constantly post, because if not, people will forget about the page. Yeah. People will stop liking it. You got to constantly post at least one thing every day so you can get it going. So eventually you can have thousands of people following it. Right?
Yep. Yeah. It's funny because it's like, it's all about relevancy and how often you're, because you kind of get forgotten about, you know what I mean? So if you're in people's faces and, everybody uses social media nowadays and stuff. Not everybody can get on the news. Not everybody can sit in this chair, but you offer it to people that seek it, you know what I mean, or whatever. But, I think it's interesting. Everybody should, I truly think that the world would be a better place if everybody was doing what made them happy. Yeah. And I consider some things like, okay, like, well, if everybody wanted to paint, right? Like, okay, that's not really great for like building railroads and stuff, for example, but somebody would get sick of painting because it's like, well, somebody's got to buy and appreciate the paint, there's different things. But there's a couple things that I think that we need to fix right away, and it's like how we educate people, you know, from children to adults. Like, imagine if you could at any point in time change your life by going back to school. Just like the library's free, you know, you could go in there and meet with a mentor and get you to a point where whatever, you know what I mean? Like, I went to trade school for electrical construction. I still have that in my, you know, back, you know, ground, but that was a very small part of the last 10 or 12 years of my life, you know what I mean? So it's like, there's other applicable skills. And imagine if you could go back and get a business degree and not have to worry about where the money's coming from. You know what I mean? Like, and if it didn't work out, no big deal. You know, you want to try medical, you know what I mean? Like, you can do that, but make it so, you know, not so people can flip-flop, but they have the opportunity to, like, make a real determination. Like, I think that I could save people's lives by being a firefighter. You know what I mean? Why am I mopping the floor per se when I know in my heart of hearts that I could be running a podcast and enlightening people or talking about some stuff, you know what I mean? So I truly think that if we get more people out of the jobs they hate and into ones that they like, you know, that's where the passion comes out of, and that's where the good work comes out of, and that's where it doesn't feel like work and it feels more like your life, you know what I mean?
And I know exactly what you mean, because I was thinking like, what you said, I was thinking I think everyone does have a passion. Every single one of us has like something inside of us, right? But we got to find it. So then I was like, okay, how did I find, I think I have mine a little bit. I got my working out, my cleaning business, and my podcast, right? So I was thinking like one day, like, how did I find mine, right? So I was thinking, I kind of built it, right? I got out of prison like 3 years ago. I didn't have nothing. I walked out of prison. My nephew Michael gave me my wallet, and he said, "Here, Uncle Yogi." It was nothing in it. My mom was cleaning a few houses. I started cleaning houses with my mom. I built a cleaning business with my mom. It kind of got big. So I started working, I started learning about podcasts through listening to podcasts, and I started building like a podcast. I wanted to get fitter. I started building. So I kind of found my journey through building it little by little. But I think find one thing, right? So when I got out, I found the cleaning business, and I made that until I built like a successful, we run like a subscription model, so we have money coming in. Once I got that going pretty good, then I focused more on the podcast, got that going pretty good. Even though I don't make any money off this yet, I still got the whole concept going pretty good. Then I started my workout journey, and I got that kind of going pretty good. So I think by repetition and dedication, you build, you find what you want. And then the cleaning business creates the money flow for me to follow my dream as in the podcast, to have conversations.
Right.
Yeah.
It's funny that it's you have to, I don't know, you have to use, like in this day and age, you have to have money, you know what I mean? It's just like you have to have money. So where's the money coming from? Either you're earning the money because you can go out there and get it, or you fuck with somebody who knows how to get it and they break you off some, you know what I mean? And that's a job.
Like an investor or something.
Well, yeah, like a job, you know. I find myself, every time I'm in between jobs, it's like, well, now's my chance to go out there and get this bread, you know what I mean? And that's like, well, what are you really going to do? You're going to sell shirts, you know what I mean? You got to buy shirts, you know, it takes money to make money, etc.
Of course.
But, yeah, I like what you said. I mean, you got to have something to kind of cling to, and it's interesting. Like when maybe you've been out of work and or have nothing to do. How torturous that is, because it's like you got no structure. You just, what am I doing? Where am I going? Do you need something? Do you need me? Is anybody calling? Am I? It kind of puts you. But if you have a job or something to do, a project or whatever, and you're attacking that with enthusiasm, you know what I mean? That's like, that's your part of your happy place. That's part of your structure, you know?
Yeah, because when I was in jail, I was in prison for 3.5 years. When I was in prison, dude, that's boring as fuck. Like every day it's the same shit. You have to have like This is another thing I learned in prison. Okay, let me tell you another thing that I learned in prison. When I went to prison, I didn't know how to be like a man. I didn't know. I was like raised by a single mom, and I looked at a bunch of like my cousins and uncles, you know. But there was like a lot of mixed influences. I had good influence, bad influence, a lot of. But when I got there, I didn't know everything. So the first 3 months, I lived in a big pod with 72 men, right? Mm-hmm. And every morning I would wake up and I'd look around and I would see like there was like the 90% of them would wake up early. They would go work out, eat their breakfast, go work out, go play baseball, football, they would come back, take showers, shave, lotion up. Like I seen this, like I'm like, oh, so there was still that 10% that would just lay around and not do nothing. Mm-hmm. But I seen that 90% of men, they were clean, they would cook. These were all men, thousands of them in the whole prison. They showed you this is what a man, because sometimes you're here in the streets and you see your lazy uncle, your lazy cousin, and he's not showing you the proper way. Maybe you're trying to learn from your dad, but your dad is doing the wrong way, or you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But when you see like a group of men, what they do day to day, it actually shows you like what you're really supposed to do. So what I learned in them first 3 months, I learned, okay, get my ass up, go to breakfast, go do a workout, find a hobby, you know, go to the library, read, go to the school, try to get my GED, go to this, I learned what these guys were doing. They were getting jobs. Some worked at the gym. Some had this. So then I started following their routine. And when I was in prison, I actually started working out. And I lost a bunch of weight there too. The only thing was when I got out, I gained it all back. But that taught me a little bit of how to be disciplined and how just finding your routine will get the days going faster. Because like that, I wasn't sitting around just in my pod all day.
Right.
I was like I got the picture of like what the majority of men really do to get their day going. It's
really interesting.
It's really interesting when you see. Oh, another thing I learned in there, right? When a group of men want something, the guards give it to him. Because the prison, if they want an extra TV, all they gotta do is go into a food strike, right? Food strike. The prison is scared of hungry men. Hungry men is so scared because when they're fasted state, they're starving. They'll attack. They'll do anything. So they'll get you a new TV like 2 days. You just fast for like 2 days. Everybody in the whole prison, and they'll pass along like the little piece of paper like, hey, everyone has to fast to all the leaders, and all the leaders say, hey, everyone has to fast. And then boom, you get whatever you want because they have power in numbers.
Yeah, well, that's a good reminder for everybody. There's power in numbers.
Yeah,
but no, like real talk, like that makes a lot of sense. That's kind of, I was gonna say it's interesting that you got to see a routine from a lot of people at one time. Like who gets that? You know, most people, if you're lucky or whatever, you know what I mean. You got mom and dad at home, and you watch dad shave and do the whole thing, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of people that I know, and myself included, like my parents broke up and shit, you know what I mean? I had right, you know what I mean? So then I feel you on that, and like, and then as a man, you're trying to piece together who's your mentors in life. Is it the sports guy? Is it this entertainer guy? Is your dad around?
Yeah.
You know, et cetera, type of shit. And it's kind of funny, interesting, kind of putting. But back to the discipline part, that's where everybody who's like seeking some spirituality or seeking some purpose right now, or they're working on themselves, is kind of like, at least what I'm learning is you got to have a regiment. I was reading about these samurais waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning. That was part of their regiment, as some sort of spiritual time between night and day. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was really interesting. And some of my best or most creative or like hardest working or intense times are when I get up because I'm ready to do whatever it is I was trying to do. You know what I mean? Got to get back to the game. Some people experience that, like, I got to get back on my game, or I got to get back on my project or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
And I was saying that's that jet fuel right there. You know what I mean? That's what people need more of in their lives, is the opportunity or ability to chase their dreams. Really, you know what I mean? Because that's better than coffee. You know?
Yeah, and that gives you that drive to get up every day and go. Because it's hard. Like, okay, like me. Okay, I got to get up every day and go. Get up every day and go. Go work out. Go work. But like, what? I have to find something, right? Find what. Like for a long time, I knew how to work out. I know how to work out. I know how to go lose weight. But I was eating everyday fast food. And then I got sick. That's what really kind of woke me up. Because I was like in the hospital. I got this thing called transverse myelitis in my back. Like my legs were numb and shit. I was like, man, I need to do something. So when I got out of the hospital, I was like, man, that's when I started like, figuring out I got to start doing something for myself. And another thing that I finally got to meet my dad. Like I know my dad from a long time ago, but he was in prison for a long time. But when I actually got to meet him and see who he was and how he was raised, and like, in your mind, you always think, man, my dad, he wasn't around, he didn't teach me. But when I got to find out, like, oh, my dad couldn't have teach me, because he doesn't even know to this day half the shit that I'm learning online through podcasts. Like about the brain, about working out, about eating. Like my dad doesn't know any of that stuff. So he couldn't even be I can't look at him like he didn't teach me, because no one taught him. Nobody knew. Like his parents were like black and white TV and like in Cuba, like with a little radio, like, you know what I mean?
Right. And that comes back to it. Nobody's done this before. Your parents were never parents before, right? Like, and that's what's trippy when we like come full circle and wonder how we ended up where we ended up or whatever. And it's really nobody to blame, and it's no problem, and it's only us now. It's just like us versus us trying to be better than the day before, and you know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's another thing. Like when you said that, like none of us were nothing. And remember, I said that I at one point I was just a cleaning guy. Now I'm a podcaster, and like you can do that. Like I think you have the perfect Eli Toledo, and you talk about Eli or Toledo's cool stuff. And I think you should have like a Toledo type of themed podcast where you can have local people, because I get so many people that want to be on my podcast, but I don't have I don't have the time to interview every person. But I can always say, hey, you own a business, Toledo, maybe you can talk to Eli, maybe he can get you on, or maybe we can link up and maybe I can go on your show.
Yeah.
And maybe you know what I mean? And we can have like a community of like, you don't have to call it a podcast. I don't know. Community of podcasters, just like the freaking guys do, like on Joe Rogan and all these guys. Yeah. And we promote each other's businesses and help each other out with like to promote your group, to promote anything like, the city paper, like they do that, like you're having a gala or something. Isn't there something coming?
Yeah, we got, the Best of Toledo thing has completed. So now we're kind of going through that.
Yeah, because I want to get on there next year for the Best Toledo's podcast.
Yeah.
Somebody won that this year.
Yeah, that's yet to be revealed. But yeah, there's like a Best Social Media category.
I know, but I want to be part of that. But nobody voted me. I mean, I guess someone voted there's someone that told me they voted my name in there, but it has to be like a bunch of people.
So here's the scoop with that. Like you can, during the nominations, anybody can be nominated, and then they take the top 6 nominations, and that moves on to a voting phase. So it's really important during that time to get like a lot of people to nominate you, because then they look at those numbers and say, hey, these 6 groups had the most.
Okay.
And that's how that kind of.
So next year, I need to be right in the beginning, because when I started hearing more about it was when they were already putting out the names that were nominated.
Right.
So I need to get into in the beginning so I can get my podcast in there.
Yeah. As soon as the gate opens, tell people to go to ToledoCityPaper.com and they can vote right there.
I got to figure that out.
Yeah. Another thing too is you know what I mean? It's like, You know, it's relevancy. It's how often you're seen. You know, that's why advertisements work. That's why billboards work, and you know these things, because it's like, hey, I know that guy. I'm familiar with them. I've seen them all over the place. You know, everybody can name that company. Like I see them all over the place, right? Yeah. And that's like, or I know their jingle, or I know it's 1-800-Hanson's or whatever. You know what I mean? Whatever it is. You know what I mean?
That AAA song. That shit's. You ever heard that on the tape?
Remind me.
It was like AAA standard service. I don't know. AAA standard services. I don't know. Yeah. That's like a song that's like on TV around here in Toledo. I used to work for them, AAA.
Okay. Yeah. Shout out to AAA because
yeah, but that's exactly what I try to tell my my sponsors. You know, like they'll be seen every time someone sees Big Yogi'Z Garage. They watch my podcast. The 3 sponsors, you know, will be on there. You know.
I mean. Not to circle back to like the Cat Williams shit, but I feel like this is interesting. That interview, it was, and I haven't checked the numbers, it was 3rd most viewed YouTube video of all time.
Of all time.
Yeah. Of all time.
Yeah, they surpassed, Joe Rogan had the biggest viewed podcast, and that one just surpassed it, I think.
Well, at last I checked, it was like, there was the number 1, and then I thought Joe Rogan had number 2 or whatever, and then they were sitting at number 3, likely to go for number 2, and who knows if they're going to be number 1, but that's the power of what we are doing now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That Stanley Cup, I'm sorry, that the mug, the coffee mug thing.
Stanley Cup mug.
I was reading a thing, and it was talking about this company is a 100-year-old company that's catered to men and neutral colors and this and camping and rugged. Yeah. And then now all of a sudden somebody said, "I love my cup," and then now they're in a bunch of different colors. And
I did a little bit of research on that. Yeah. The first thing they did was they made a cream one and a white one, right? They made the cream one and the white one, and some like really like famous TikToker, made it on her video, and then Stanley seen the sales go up, but Stanley, the good thing what they didn't stop it and just say, okay, let the white go. No, they went with pink and blues, and they started putting all these neutral colors, and they blew up on TikTok so big, like all over social media, Instagram, everything. And it's not really it's not about drinking the water, it's a status thing now. So my stepdaughter goes to Sylvania schools. Every single girl at school
got one?
Every single girl.
Really?
Walking in, they all have their Starbucks in there now.
Wow.
Or whatever they're drinking, or their water. But every single girl in Sylvania, Maumee, all of them have a cup, a Stanley Cup.
It used to be, I remember, like Yeti. When Yeti came out, it was like, oh, Yeti's the status symbol for the coffee mug situation, you know what I mean? And it's so crazy to me, and I was like, I was with it too. I bought one too, you know? And I've been looking at Stanley's, but they've been always out of my price range. You know, when I'm like, oh, I'm cool, you know, like, and honestly, it wasn't even that hip right now. And I've never been like a person, like a bandwagon kind of whatever, you know, but it's funny that it's hot right now. And it's funny that people feel bad when they're not a part of the trend. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I'm not rocking the kicks. I'm not part of the thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, but Gary, you know Gary V?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Gary Vaynerchuk, he preaches about buying companies that are like, you know, like nobody's really heard of them in a little bit. Like, okay, let's say, you know how right now Champion, it's blowing up. It's like $60 a shirt. Back in the day, you could buy that at Kmart for like $5.
Right.
So, but someone bought Champion, or Champion thought about putting it on social media and blowing it up and making it like a name brand. But like Gary Vaynerchuk says, like buy like a small store that's not doing good in your neighborhood, or something, a barbershop that's like run down. But if you hit it with the right social media, TikTok, Instagram, you can get that shit popping and busy. It's all about you. Anything you buy, even a product, say the product is not doing so good, but you put enough eyes on it, it can get going.
Yep.
When I say chicken nuggets, what do you think about?
I mean, like Chick-fil-A or McDonald's or whatever. Yeah,
McDonald's, right?
Yeah,
McDonald's, Chick-fil-A. Why? That's not the best chicken nuggets in the world, is it?
No.
But just by saying chicken nuggets, you can think of Chick-fil-A and McDonald's. Those are two things that I didn't even ask you about. I just asked you chicken nuggets. But you
synonymous.
You didn't think, pastured raised chicken nuggets made with, olive oil at home. No, because you don't even, that's not what you think about. You think of what you've seen your whole life.
Yep.
Just like you said, advertisement. When I say pop, you think pop, okay, Pepsi or Coke, you don't,
1 and 2, right?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Hey, what do you want, Pepsi or Coke? Or are you more of a Sprite guy? When you go to the store, there's so many options in the world, right? But they only have Pepsi, Coke, Sprite, Mountain Dew, Dr. Pepper, and then a random couple little blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
It's so hard to get that shelving. Like, everyone thinks they have options, right? Everyone thinks, I'm going to go to the store and get a Coke. Everyone doesn't have options because there's so many freaking Coca-Cola companies in the world. But when you go to Speedway, there's only so many things. We really don't have options. We have to eat what we have like in front of us.
Right.
Like at a shoe store, everybody thinks, I got to pick these shoes out. But when I went to go buy these, there was only 2 different kinds of these. And then there was only 4 pairs of Nikes and 5 Adidas's and then 5, you know?
Right.
We really don't have our own options. We have what
we're presented the options.
Yeah,
which means
we think we think we go to the store and we're picking what we want, but we're putting on the clothes that H&M says. Someone thought like this is a style. So at H&M, there's 20 different shirts. But there's hundreds of these. There's There's 30 of these. We don't have options, but we don't really. Options is if I start knitting,
right,
and I start making my thing. I mean, not options, but to be your own. Be your own.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard because almost everything is
impossible. It's impossible unless you are doing it yourself, like manufacturing it yourself. Because I think you said it's like you're presented the option, so you really only get the choice between Coke and Pepsi. So that's all that exists, baby. It's Coke or Pepsi. Sucks. But I used to work for Dr. Pepper 7-Up as a merchandiser. It was one of the first jobs I had out of high school.
Okay.
And now, years later, I'm learning about, which companies own, what stuff. And of course, if you're Coca-Cola, eventually you're like, I'm going to buy Sprite or I'm going to create Sprite. So they got these different flavors, as they should. But I guess the problem is when you go back to the grocery stores, when you go back to the grocery store and then you realize that if you can spend your money 3 ways. It goes into this door, that door, that door. You know what I mean? It's not like you're helping your buddy, like if I'm breaking bread with you buying your shirt and you're actually seeing some of that money, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that would be cool. Cause I always thought about that, eventually having my own little merch and stuff. But I'm like, man, what if I do invest in that and then nobody buys none, or nobody what if I invest? Cause like you said, it takes money to make money.
Yep.
So I already invested some money into my podcast, and I've always thought maybe make a little bit of merch so I can kind of upgrade some things, because I want to get Wi-Fi here and have a computer. I still don't have a computer system where it's my own, and I want to have my own little studio 100%. So I'm thinking how do I grow the podcast? Because right now I got 449. I need one more subscriber. Be that subscriber. I need one more subscriber for 450. So I almost got 450 subscribers, but I want to get more subscribers. But I also can't afford too much advertising, because the little bit of money that I am wasting on this is for the studio, the this, the that, the thumbnail, the editing, I make a flyer, the thumbnail, So I have to pay for all that through another service, through graphic designer Brandon. So yeah, it's like, do I get the merch? Is anyone gonna help me? Because I know people buy a lot of like, the stuff at Walmart, on the mall, and this and that. But is a couple people gonna buy Big Yogi'Z Garage, hoodies and stuff like that, or maybe do I give them away? But then like that, I feel like I'm throwing away. I wanna use something like that to grow the podcast,
right?
Too, because if you wore a Big Yogi'Z Garage sweatshirt, maybe put QR code at the back. Someone gonna be like, hey, that's cool. It's a podcast in Toledo. You be like, hey, here's a QR code. Scan it. Boom. They can follow the podcast.
Right.
I think that would be cool. So I was thinking about doing a giveaway or selling them, or I don't know, something.
I think a couple things. I always thought that. First of all, merchandise is a great way to market. People are actually wearing that stuff. That's dope. Where'd you get it from? You know what I mean? So. I consider us all walking billboards, you know what I mean? I was also thinking, like, to that tune, if you can build into your system, some level of charity in the sense that, like, it does benefit you if people are wearing your stuff. If you can afford to give somebody some shirts, even cheap ones or something like that, the fact that they're wearing them helps you, But I was going to say, what I'd like to do, and anybody can do, is like do a fundraiser with your merch. Not only are you getting something you can take and wear and rock, but by buying this thing, you are supporting me by, helping me get whatever it is else I need to get. You know what I mean? But as I always tell people, if you're going to do an like people always cycle back to the social media. So I said, if you're going to do some advertising or whatever, self-promotion or not, you know what I mean? It's like increase the amount of likes on your page so that you can control the narrative. You know what I mean? You want to create your audience. However you can grow your audience, that's what the trick is. That's what we're trying to do here. And I like what you said about working together with local podcasters, you know what I mean? Having different locations, having like a coalition, having like, it's about being real, you know what I mean? Being here, doing this, talking about it now, like that makes it real. When you have a hoodie or something like that, it makes it merchandise. And it's like you said before, like you built your life, you know what I mean? It can be whatever we want it to be. Yeah. And I was thinking, like, the only thing that we really got is our time. And it's like, whatever it is, like, you're volunteering your time here today, I'm volunteering my time today. And together that made something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because that's all we really do have, and it's hard to like, because like a lot of people ask for that time too, So like you gotta like okay, like I had to clean a rental property, right? And then for some reason last night we couldn't get it done, right? And I'm like, I already got this. Me and you set this up months ago, right? There's no way I can cancel this. Me and you, we've been messaging each other. You've been saying, hey, Yogi, everything's still good? I'm like, yeah, everything's still good. So last night, right, we couldn't finish the house. I'm like, oh my God. So I called my mom. I said, Mom, okay, so I didn't finish the rental property, but I said, tomorrow I have a podcast. So I'm going to bring the guys over here and you're going to have to pick them up because I have a podcast, very important podcast. She goes, I can't. I got church. I'm like, no way. Nope. You're going to have to go clean it. I said, oh my God, hold on. What's going to happen? So I didn't panic. I didn't really say nothing. I just like, okay, what's going to happen? Okay, maybe I can clean it real quick. Maybe. Boom. All of a sudden, a text comes in. That my third house that I was supposed to do canceled. So I was like, perfect. So now I can do my 2 houses, go to the rental property, finish it, and still make it here. I made it here, like, I got here at 5:15. I cut it real close. Usually I'm here like an hour early, and I chill, and I relax, but like, it was like, but I knew I was gonna be here because it's all right here in the same side of town.
Right.
But I was like, man, it was like perfectly timed everything, because my time is so precious. Like, this is what we were talking about, time, right?
Yeah.
So so my time is really precious because I have to work and clean. So I have to like, sometimes like I have a rental property, like I could, if I wasn't here right now with you, I could be cleaning the next rental property because the lady, like I told you, I know them, they have 450 properties. They send me a property after another property. And then when I'm done with this one, I go to the next one, I go to the next one. And between there, I have residential houses, like a subscription model residential service that I have to clean Monday through Friday. People that I've been building this like subscription model cleaning business.
Right.
That I run. So the rental properties have nothing to do with that. I got to do that like after 3 p.m. into the night and stuff and clean. And sometimes like 10 o'clock at night, I'm still cleaning. So I can't let anybody just say, hey, Yogi, you want to do a podcast with me? Because my time is really, really precious.
Yeah.
So I got to try to like make time for this, focus. If I'm here, I'm not making any money. Mm-hmm. So then this is not making me any money. So this is really important to me. Mm-hmm. So what makes me the most maddest in the whole world is when I'm here, bro, and the person doesn't come.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, bro. It's like I didn't go to work, and like sometimes I would bring like the editor with me. Me and him are not working because he could be editing shit. I could be cleaning houses. We're here waiting, and the guest sends me a text like, "Hey man, my car broke down, or my dog ate the homework.
Yeah,
you know, like some crap." Because my time, your time, we're all of our time. This is precious time. You could be home, you could be working, you could be doing something else.
Yeah, right.
I think that's the ultimate disrespect.
Yeah.
Is to make someone, like if I told you to come here and then when you got here I wasn't here, that's the ultimate disrespect.
And then actually it might all come down to time, because if somebody messes around with your money, that's kind of your time spent. If somebody messes, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's
exactly
a lot of
what
everything.
you said. Yeah, it's the time. That's exactly where I was taking it, because you said that all we have is time. And that's exactly because if I'm wasting my time sitting here and I'm not at work making the money, then that's all I have is this time. So it's really precious. And that's like the ultimate disrespect. If I wasn't here when you got here, if I told you, yeah, be here at 6 and you got here and I wasn't here, bro, that's the ultimate disrespect to me.
It's the same as how would you feel if you walked up to the building and I didn't answer, right?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
It's like I was here and you didn't show up. It's the same.
I know.
I'd have been salty. If I was out there freezing. Like, man, is he coming?
That's what I'm saying. Because I don't know when this happened. I don't know if it was prison or me working out, but I'm a really dedicated person. Oh, I got out of prison like 4 years ago, and I've been cleaning houses, right? And I've never been late. I don't call off. I don't cancel houses. I don't go on vacation. The one time I went on vacation, I had 3 people going to clean my houses. I paid 3 employees and they went and cleaned every house, and I make sure everything was done. I didn't say, hey, I'm going on vacation, we'll see you next week. No, I make sure I'm very, very with my shit. If I told you I'm going to be here at 4:30, I'm going to be here at 4:30. So to me, when I don't get that in return, when someone cancels on me, when someone's not on time, or on time, it doesn't matter. On time, I don't get that mad because most of the time I'm busy,
Yeah.
But not show up, or especially if they're telling me they're coming, or maybe someone told me to go clean their house, and I get there and they're not there. Mm-hmm. They didn't leave the door unlocked. Oh my God, that's annoying as hell. Wasted all that time. Picked up an employee, took him to the house, and then one time I had a rental property. Picked up an employee, got all the rental cleaning, all the equipment, everything, took it there, put everything inside the house, turned on the water, no water. Called the lady, hey, there's no water. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you, they can't turn the water on until tomorrow. Okay, that's fine. I charged her for all that time, right? Because I don't care. I got to take this guy back home. I can't clean a house without water. Yeah. Because you have to wash. These are rental properties. We have to wash the walls and.
Yeah. And it's not like you brought water.
I can't bring water. we're just like a residential cleaning service. Like we don't have like a thing of water or nothing.
We have well, yeah, right. It's like, oh yeah, we've got a backup fire truck back here. We'll just hook it right up. But
So what do you do for a living? You work at the city paper, and then you do them groups. And then what else do you do? Do you still bartend and all that kind of stuff, or no?
no, I don't bartend anymore. I just got the one job right now. It's 9 to 5, weekends off. But it's always a hustle, I guess. Because you're in sales and stuff. So, but outside of that, I'm a songwriter. I'm into video editing. I'm into podcast entertainment and stuff.
Okay.
I got 2 dogs at home. I don't work out, but I consider myself outdoorsy. Like I like being out in nature, kind of thing. Yeah. Got a girlfriend. We've been together 3 going on 4 years. And that provided a lot of stability to my life. You know what I mean? Like it's time, structure, discipline. It's all part of this journey that we're on. Good. You know what I mean? So
I think it's a beautiful thing. Yeah, because when I got out, I had to start my life all over again. I met my wife, and everything like started working out. I think that's like when everything like start giving me more structure, because I think we're lost until we find that. We don't know where we're at, where we're going, or who we want to be. But once we have like a partner, we can kind of like, okay, this is what I want to do, and then you can start. It's still a journey, but you can kind of like start seeing it a little bit more, I think.
Yeah.
Regardless if it's man, woman, I don't know. Some people want to be with whatever. I don't know nowadays there's different genders and stuff. I don't know what's going on with all that.
Right. And I think first and foremost, I think it's like, to not restrict it by saying somebody else is responsible for my happiness. Like, the best relationship you'll ever be in is with yourself. And then once you meet somebody who's like that in a way, or at least even close, what I mean? That's a really good thing, because when you have standards, when you're like, when you can stand on your business, but your business isn't fucked up, what I mean? It's just, it is what it is, like if we're, I don't know, it's like, it's whatever I guess you sign up for, it's like, but I think having that, whatever it is, having hobbies is important, having friends is important, finding love is something that not everybody gets to experience. I feel like that everybody should experience that, but not everybody's going to get that. And for we're fortunate,
Well, I mean, some people can find it in other things, maybe a pet, but there's ways to find it, even if you gotta find it more towards like your parents, your brother, your sister. But not everyone, of course, like you said, not everyone's gonna find their partner. Or find, there's lonely people all over the world. But a lot of these lonely people, they don't realize that they can find that partner, because I'm sure they're not every 100%, but I think that a lot of lonely people, there's a lonely man and there's a lonely woman somewhere, both of them lonely. But if they would just get the hell out of their house and go into like a gym or into restaurants or do things, that a lot of these lonely people would find. I think a lot of people are like restricting themselves from going out, especially after like the pandemic and COVID and shit. It got people like weirded out about other people. If you look at concerts, they're still not 100%. You go to anything, it's still not. You still got people that are like, So I think, of course, not 100% there's not everyone can find somebody, but I think a lot of lonely people, if they would just get their asses up, try to be an outdoorsy type of person, go outside, exercise, go to the park, go get a gym membership, go to the movies, go out, play bingo, this and that. A lot of the people will find someone, bro.
Yeah. I think you can even stay in your lane. stay in your lane. And that's the beauty of it, is like being yourself will lead you to what you're seeking almost. Because let's just say I loved reading library books. Guess what? I go to the library, I'm reading library books. I meet someone else who loves library books. Me and them hit it off over library books.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Like you said, it doesn't even have to be the gym. It could be, like you said, go to the library because that's your thing.
It could be anything. It could be over games. I know people that it's like, hey, you know what? We're not going to the bars, but me and you about to drink Mountain Dew and play Call of Duty all night.
Yeah.
You know, there's those people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's all types of people, and I think, you know, I don't know. The problem is surviving while being yourself. You know what I mean? Like, how do I live the life I want to live? I'm not talking about extravagant. I'm just talking about pay for the basic stuff and find joy in what I do when I wake up in the morning. You know what I mean?
And be yourself.
To a degree. I mean, not to say that everything's going to be peaches all the time. You know what I mean? Because it's certainly not. But it's some shit that you're willing to deal with. You know what I mean? Like, you might have a shitty day tomorrow, but you're excited to tackle it because it's a tough project, but you're like, hey man, I really want to make sure that thing goes over well, so I'm going to be there early.
Yeah.
In my hand.
But the thing is, none of us really know. You said, like, be happy with ourselves, right? Like, with who we, be happy with who we are. But, like, the thing is, like your friend said, none of us really know who we are. None of us really know, like, every day we're evolving into, like, the person we're gonna become. So I think is, like, instead of just being happy, like, I say, like, get your ass up and become that person, like, that you want to be. Because, like, kind of like, it don't gotta be like, I want to be this podcaster. No, think of you're like, kind of like, okay, I would like a mixture of these podcasters. I want to be like them, but I want to work out. I want to, like, you know, come up with this. I want to have, like, stories, but I want to talk to people in Toledo. Like, I had, like, this, like, goal of this person, which he didn't exist, but I put him up there. And then I was like, okay, so how do I become him? So every day I had to, like, okay, I gotta wake up, work out, and I gotta go to work to make money, and then I gotta put some money away for my podcast because this is what I want to become. So I kind of, like, forced myself to be this new version of myself, because the guy that I was, like, happy with, like, to be just happy with, was, like, miserable, overeating. I was, like, going to McDonald's every single day, like 2 or 3 times a day. And I was, like, happy because I was, like, fine. I was making money, working, cleaning, and I was getting fatter and fatter, and I was, like, content. But now I'm like, I have to force myself to go to the gym. I have to force myself. And it sucked in the beginning, and it was hard, and I wasn't making myself happy. But now I actually force myself to, that's what's making me happy. That McDonald's eating guy that was, like, happy with being content with being him, he's not there no more. That shit makes me sick. If I have to stop because I'm in a hurry and I got to stop and eat McDonald's, I'll be like, damn, I don't want to eat McDonald's, but there's nothing else to eat.
Right.
I'll be like, if I skip a day at the gym, I'm like, fuck, man, damn, I got to go there tomorrow. Before I loved McDonald's. Before, I hated going to the gym. The first day I pulled in the parking lot, dude, and I didn't even want to get out the car. I was like, God, shit. And even every day when my alarm goes off at 5 a.m, I don't want to get up. I'm like, damn, I don't want to go. Fuck, man, damn this shit. But I had to create, like, this new version of myself that something else hard is going to be happy. I don't know how, but I think that we have to, like, force ourselves not always to listen to the easy things, like, and, like, force ourselves to, like, learn about what is, like, making people better for the future. Like, I'm on this health kick, right? So I'm talking about health because that's the journey I'm on. So I got sick. I was like, oh shit, I'm about to fucking get fat and die. Like, I was in the trajectory where it's like obesity and, like, and I'm gonna be on a machine, and, like, I could see it coming. So I was like, I gotta turn this shit around.
Right.
So I started learning to health and fitness, and I started implementing that shit in my life because I was like, fuck this. I don't want to be just easy and then.
It seems like you eliminated worry, because it's like, you're like, well, if I stay here and not do nothing, I'm gonna be worried about I'm getting out of shape and blah blah blah. But if I kill that and say, hey, I know the only remedy for that is actually working out. That will eliminate the possibility of that happening, really. And it will eliminate the thought in my head that that's going to happen. But if you did nothing, you'll just sit there with those thoughts of whatever it's going to be, so.
Yeah, because the other thing I was worried about was I just had proposed to my wife, and I was like getting sick, overweight, eating fast food every day. I was in a trajectory of getting I was thinking like, how am I going to put a ring on it and promise her the future when I'm not even like, I'm not even doing what I know. Like I already knew that not working out, eating fast food. And another thing that I started doing was fasting. I started fasting, working out, and doing better things for my life. Yeah. But like I had to realize, like really like look in the freaking mirror and look at myself and say, dude, how are you gonna promise this girl that one day we're gonna be together if I'm taking all these bad steps every day? Mm-hmm. So I had to like do like a really like look at myself, like awakening, like, come on, man, like wake your ass up. And I think it's important, like, okay, before I met Sandra, right? My wife is Sandra. Before I met Sandra, I was like working out and stuff because I wanted to get fit to meet the right girl, because I got fat and I wanted to go, because I've been struggling with my weight my whole life. Mm. I meet Sandra. When I meet Sandra, that's when I started having more structure to my life, more like, but it did not, like you said, not that made me happy. It's just that I'm more of a relationship type. I've always had relationships. I've been married twice. Like I think I needed that, because some people probably need that more than others. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like did you need that? When did you meet your girl? How did you meet her and all that?
We're going on 4 years now. Yeah. And I was gonna say that.
Would you meet her at the gym or anything?
No, we actually met. We met at a bar that I used to work at, actually.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? And the funniest part about it is like, from my perspective, I was there by myself because I was comfortable going out by myself. When you have that, some people don't even go. They won't go out by themselves, right? But when you can go out by yourself and say, hey, at the very least, I'll run into somebody I know the bartender, or at least I'll get to know somebody or whatever. And if it doesn't work out, I've got options. I can go there, I can go there. But anyways, I'm just chilling by myself. A beautiful woman walks to the back patio. I'm like, who is that? She starts talking some shit that I was into, like food trucks and some business shit and some music shit. And I was like, she's talking to some people I know. And then she comes back. First of all, I didn't think I was ever going to see her again. She comes back out at the patio, walks right up to me, and tells me that she thought I was cute, basically. And it just, long story from there, you know what I mean? And I always thought that was the boldest move ever, because like typically women don't approach you, right? And I said, well, was it something about me or, whatever? But I didn't care what it was. I was just like, it felt good to be wanted, you know what I mean? Yeah. It felt good to be sought out, you know what I mean? But it ended up being the best thing ever, because it's almost like the universe bringing you together, you know what I mean? Kind of thing. I was happy doing what I was doing, and I was happy doing what I was doing with her, you know what I'm saying? So it all made sense, you know what I mean?
And then you guys had a good, like, chemistry, like from the beginning. You guys like the same kind of things and stuff?
Yeah, the funny part about it is I've often wondered, do opposites attract? Mm-hmm. And then somebody will say, would you date yourself? And it's like, well, no, I probably wouldn't. Mm-hmm. That might be too much, right? Yeah. So I think it's really kind of cool to have somebody that's complementary. It's like the yin and the yang. it's a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
Yeah.
And I pick up off some shit that she does, and she picks up off some shit that I do. And that's the balance that I think, it's not perfect, nothing is, but like close to perfect, I'll take that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that sounds good. That reminds me a little bit of me and my wife. Like me and my wife, we met at the gym. So we were both on a journey to like work out. We weren't like gym goers. We were just on a journey. We both met. When we got together, we both gave up on the gym. We both like, you know what I mean, started getting chunky. Then we both like, I got sick and I started my journey. And then she didn't get on there until like she seen me going for a while, and then she started her journey. So we both have like, you know, kind of the same thing, but we don't work out together. She has her own style. She's the boss at her store. I'm the boss at this cleaning company. So we have similar things, but we also have our own lives and our own things.
It's different, right? Yeah. It's similar, different, and that's where it's the balance, because it's like you've got stuff that you can relate on, but not everything is the same. It's not like, it's a nice amount of difference, you know what I mean? Like it's a good amount.
And then are you guys planning on getting married and having kids and all that shit?
You know, I don't know what, you know, we'll have to see about all that. But, you know, but I think it's honestly interesting because most people don't choose when they have their kids. You know what I mean? It's like most of the time it's kind of, it's unplanned.
Yeah, of course.
But
like my kids. I had them when I was young, so.
Right, you know, and that's the story a lot of the times, and I've often think about that, and I think that, you know, kind of when you bring a kid into a situation, I mean, it's hard raising a kid, especially raising a good kid or somebody who's going to be safe their whole life, you know what I mean, and not have bad shit happen to them. You know?
Of course, yeah. And we got to always think about this world that we live in.
That part.
You know what I'm saying? Are we ready to bring kids into this world and then be responsible for them for 18 years?
Right.
Because it ain't like, oh, you can just bring them in and then just chill. Like, because I made so many mistakes with my kids. I wish that I could know what I know now and have kids. You know, but I that's too late. It's too late for that.
And you know, right. And so I don't know. You know, it's crazy to think about. It's just like I hope people are prepared for the weight that it is to like be responsible for a kid. Not just not financial responsibility, but like moral obligation to do right by that little kid. You know what I mean? To like make sure that they have a good opportunity to not. Whatever, you know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of responsibility, and some people get thrown on that, and they do really well. You know what I mean? They do really well with the responsibility that was thrown on their lap, or whatever. You know what I mean? But kind of like, I don't know. The education system kind of worries me a bit. You know, like.
Yeah. You gotta really think about that shit.
I get it that we learn how to write and history and stuff, but are we really like? I think about these kids that are like piano players, and I'm like, okay, they might have just been really good at piano, but didn't you put a piano in front of them? Didn't you put a piano in front of them at an early age? Didn't you expose them to like some music and stuff?
Yeah.
So arguably these kids could be a lot further along, but they don't have the same opportunities. And even the ones that do go to the public schools and stuff like that, are we paying the teachers enough? Do they have enough time to do their jobs? Are they parents now that they're watching your kids? Do the parents no longer have a responsibility when the kids come home? You know what I mean? It's like there's a whole bunch of shit.
Elon Musk has like 10 kids. He thinks all of us should have a lot of kids, but he of course he's rich and he's famous and and then he's like a super genius. He has his kids probably studying engineering and this and that. But the thing is, not every single person can have the time and money and everything, because when you have kids, you got to remember, it's not all about money. You got to apply your time to them. But if you're applying your time to them, then you're not making any money. And you have to support those kids because each one of them costs money. So it's really complicated. So you got to always make sure you think about every single situation. And you know, first off, you know, make sure that you're prepared correctly before you can embark into, you know, marriage and kids and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
You know, you probably know that, but, you know, I was just asking because, you know, some people get into relationships and as soon as you get to good relationships, the girl's like, oh, I want to have kids and get married. So I just didn't know, you know, what stage in life you guys are in, but it's hard right now to have kids and be that ready for them.
Yeah, you know, it's such a tragedy that when somebody like because and I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because we've been fed some of this stuff our whole lives. Like I always thought, like, okay, yeah, high school and it's like the college thing. You know, everybody's life's different, but like generally speaking, in this day and age, they say, you know, if everything goes right, high school, college, job, house, you know, engagement, wedding, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, kids are...
You know what I mean? It's like, but it ain't, we all realize it ain't like that, you know, it's rarely like that, you know, so.
Not too many families make it all the way and then to the grandpa on the hill and the white picket fence.
Right. Unless you're one of these rare few who figure out how to make money while you sleep. I forget who said that, but they were like, if you can figure out how to make money while you sleep, that's like stocks or whatever it is.
Some kind of Bitcoin, like,
or like you're the boss and you just know that your guys are out working and whatever.
That's what I want to do one day.
Well, that would give the father the ultimate opportunity to be there for his family, because it's like that's what I think most people want, is that freedom. Mm-hmm. You know, maybe not everybody's wanting to do the parenting thing, but everybody's seeking that kind of freedom to like kind of do what they want to do. And
yeah, because like this podcast is what I want to do. I want to conversate with people and I want to learn. I want to learn from you. I want to learn from every guest. But I have my cleaning business. But I would love for my cleaning business to automatically work by itself, you know, checking on it, getting business for it, and ultimately have a podcast 5 days a week, you know, sit down, conversate with someone, and, you know, and give more people in Toledo a shot to just sit down with me, have a conversation, put their ideas out, talk about their life. Maybe next time you come on, you have a big idea for like a channel or something, and we talk about that, because we don't have to talk about, you know, every single little thing about, because people are already going to know you, like my viewers are going to know you. So next time we come on, we just talk about, you know, a certain different topic, or, you know, just shoot the shit like we are today, you know? Yeah, because like, I think like, I don't know. I think podcasting is the future. And I know Toledo is kind of like just breaking into all that. So I think that you should have one and then have me as a guest one day.
Yeah, I'd love to have you on the show for sure.
Yeah. Are you good? Do you have like a certain channel that you put? I remember seeing the one with ABM. Was that just on Facebook on your thing?
Yeah, it's just I got most of that. I got pretty much all that stuff on Facebook is how I operate currently. Mm-hmm. I have accounts for the other stuff. I just don't really post it because I really want to grasp what it is that I'm trying to do here, mm-hmm. and you know, and I don't want to. I think I agree with you. You know, podcasting is quite a bit the future. It's what I'm tuning into. It's what a lot of people are getting their alternative information from, let's just say, because you got to have other avenues and to hear about things. You know, if I typed in like what happened today in Toledo, me and you wouldn't come up. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah. But there's a lot of shit that goes on that people don't know about.
Yeah.
But I've been doing a couple of those Facebook pages, like you said. My media company is what I call it, which I do have some merchandise, not for sale, but I need to get some more going on. It's kind of odd 419. Kind of odd is my kind of
odd 419.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So and I do some videos. You can search hashtag kind of odd 419 and find a bunch of videos that way.
Facebook.
Mm-hmm, okay. On Facebook. Right. But I'd like to do the podcast thing. I call it the Kind of Odd Show. I've used that moniker a handful of times. And basically it's a show where you could kind of talk about whatever. It could be talent on there. It could be you know, business owners. It could be really whatever, but really, like you said, just a conversation. It's not an interview. I don't, you know, I'd like to get to know you on camera kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of what, like, mine was kind of like that, you know. In the beginning, I wanted to do more like just you know, talking and stuff, and then it became like an interview because I had, you know, a certain, you know, artist on, and and I talked to them, and then I was just like, God, I don't want to just interview everybody. I want to interview them. I want the viewers to get to know them a little bit as I get to know them. But I want it to be like conversation style, you know, kind of like what we did today.
Yeah, and that's a whole like popular category because I mean, I forget some of the major networks that do this. Like, you know, it's like this really serious interview where it's like somebody's like asking you about some fucked up shit or whatever, or some real deep stuff related to whatever's going on in the news right now. Like, you know, I was like, those are like interviews where this is like you said, it's like a conversation and. Yeah. So okay. So is there anything that you wanted to bring up or anything that you wanted to talk about? I know we talked about a lot of stuff. Yeah.
But anything that you were thinking about bringing up in the podcast when you came or anything?
You know, I just wanted to, you know, mention that, you know, I appreciate being, you know, on the show today.
Yeah.
I think in the last year, I've taken a lot of pride in like the city of Toledo, how far we've come, what we've done to bring some money into the area and make Toledo a destination. And you know, and I want to shout out Nicholas, you know, Nick Faulkner on Facebook for creating that awesome Historic Toledo group. I mean, that's brought a lot of people together, and that, you know, having a group of people that care about the same stuff is important, you know what I mean? So like,
yeah, he's a cool dude. He shared my stuff on his page and stuff.
Yeah, he's a cool dude, and you know, so I just want to, you know, we got to make Toledo, you know, I said it earlier today, like this is our corner of the earth, like what we do with it, you know, it's our choice to do with it, you know what I mean? We're responsible for this ground and these buildings and our history and stuff. And one kind of a big thing that's going on right now is they're tearing down, you know, property owners are tearing down businesses, tearing down buildings, some of them historically significant. One of them being the Sacred Heart Church in East Toledo. That's been in the news and talked about a lot, about how, you know, because there's not enough parishioners, they're going to tear down this historic structure that's been there. There's no real problem with it. It could be fixed or whatever, you know what I mean? So like this community I'm part of now, that cares deeply about Toledo and its potential to be a tourist destination because of its rich history and our industrial nature. I think that's something that I think we should be proud of and should continue to you know, go towards.
Yeah, man, because like I'm really proud of being downtown, man. Like that, a lot of people wanted me to go to like the east side because I'm from the east side, or this building in the north end. But I wanted to have my podcast here downtown because I want to give everyone the opportunity to come downtown, have a nice time. And like in the summer, like my guests, some of them would want to go like across the street to like the, you know, the where we just went, the Dirty Bird, and get maybe like a sandwich and eat, and then we would come up here and do the interview. Or like earlier, I went and got that drink. Make it like an experience, not just like, oh, come to this little studio on the east side in my basement and we just have it. No, I want my podcast to be. Eventually, I wanted to have like where, you know, I have like maybe a little refrigerator and I can offer people drinks, and then like maybe like a little waiting room, and like maybe even maybe, you know how when we walked in over there maybe like some merch and stuff. I don't know, like that. I want to have like a real podcast studio. Like I know this is like you said earlier, we create things, right? This was probably some lawyer's office one day or something, I don't know. But now this is Big Yogi'Z Garage, my podcast studio. I created this shit. Yeah. So you know, you ever heard of the Guy 409 or whatever? Yeah, like I think like that could be like, Who cares if there's one guy that does that already? Who cares if I have a podcast?
Right.
You are you, Eli Toledo. What's that little moniker you said you have?
Kind of odd 419.
Kind of odd 419, kind of odd podcast.
Yeah.
That's you. You create a logo, a brand with that, and you become that. And you go to these Toledo restaurants and you do reviews, you interview people. You can probably go off of what you already did. You were a bartender, right?
Yeah.
You can talk to these bars, say, look, I work for a city paper. I do these groups, and I used to be a bartender all over downtown Toledo. What I want to do is a 10-minute bar interview at your bar, a Patreon, and just say, hey, get some microphones, like sit at a bar, put the tripod. One day when they're closed, get a, you know what I mean? Set it up cool. Just interview a random I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing ideas on the wall. Something like that. You bring your own style to it. You're not 419, guy in a 419. You're not Big Yogi'Z Garage. You do your own shit. You become your own. And you put it on YouTube. YouTube, why? Because you can do it on Facebook too, right? Mm-hmm. But also take that raw video and create your YouTube also with it, because YouTube is American company. Facebook is too, but YouTube is growing. Podcasts are growing. Podcast is like the number one thing growing right now on YouTube. All these Spotify podcasts that are like audio only right now, you know what they're saying? Hey, I started a YouTube channel. We're going to video. Can you guys, they got millions on Spotify, but they're going, please go subscribe to my YouTube. The people that are on Spotify only are begging people to go to their YouTube now to create video, because everyone wants the video, because video, they can see us. We can have merch. We can have a drink. One day we can create Eli Toledo's, juice, and we can promote it on your podcast, on my podcast. You can say, hey, Yogi, I started this new product. Can you go put it on your shelf? And I'll say, hey, yeah, $50 a month. I'll put it on my shelf. Yeah, you know what I mean? And vice versa. I'll say, look, I just started this new business. Can you put it on your shelf? And you say, yeah, Yogi, $50 a month. I put it on my shelf, or we'll trade. You put your product on my podcast. I put your product. Yeah. And we grow our products with video, because video is the future, unless the internet goes out, or unless all that. Because I noticed when Instagram was pictures. They took, when I first started this video podcast, I learned that Instagram was going to put a bunch of billions of dollars into video, because they seen that video was taking off way more. When I seen that, I said, I'm going to make my podcast a video podcast. I'm not going to do it just audio. I'm going to actually, set up my camera and do a video podcast. And I don't care who sees it in the beginning, because I know that's just what I want to do, because I seen that it was going to grow. And I know that if people keep seeing, off the chain bullies, one day when they go to buy a pit bull, maybe the people that watch my podcast will think, I'm going to buy a pit bull. Maybe I'll call off the chain bullies. Right. You know?
What I would like to become, and I've often thought about this, is like when you're a trusted source of information, you know what I mean? Like certain things can be fickle, like, you're trying your best to remember what something is. But, but my point being, like, become an Angie's List, I only recommend good places, and I do have an opinion about a lot of things in a lot of places, and I've often considered doing that. And and no offense, but this is kind of what, like what we're talking about now in this day and age is like, well, hey, if nobody's keeping it real, then what is anything? You know what I mean? If you aren't, it's competition actually that keeps us disciplined. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like why we work out. It's like me versus me. You know what I mean? It's the competition. It's like, if there's a bunch of people in the room and they're doing it harder, stronger, it's kind of motivating, It's like when your partner picks up working out, and then you kind of, even if you feel a little bit like shit because you're not doing it yet, you probably get a little bit inspired, you know what I mean, to like do it,
Yeah, you do. Just by seeing someone do it, it's a little bit, it's crazy. Like that's a lot of people that watch me on Facebook. little by little, I see them like, hey, Yogi, I see you're working out. You know, they'll ask me for a tip, and I see them transforming their bodies, just by getting a little bit of experience, you know, from me.
Yeah.
And I'm not telling them to work out or nothing. I'm not, you know, I'm putting it out there. I'm telling people my experience. And people get some motivation from it or something.
I saw a couple people that I used to work with that used to have like alcohol problems and, you know, looked like real skinny and messed up and shit like that. And then they've just completely changed. And I hit them up like, what did you do? Like, what? And I was like, all of a sudden I wanted to be their friend. Like, yo, can I meet with you at the gym? But it's just funny because in reality, it's like, no, you know, you figure out your own routine and get it together, you know what I mean? It's
but a person like that can make you start thinking about it. Because you like, damn, they was pretty messed up, and now they look pretty good, man. Like you can see that it's possible.
Yeah,
you can see that it's possible. You see someone that's 300 pounds, and you're like, damn, in 2 years he looks like he changed a lot. Like he when you see it's in, because a lot of people they'll go lose weight, but they don't make a video. They just hide it. Nobody knows.
Right.
You know, someone becomes a millionaire. You don't even know how the fuck they became a millionaire. They never tell nobody. All of a sudden they're, you know, a real estate mogul. And you're like, damn. The other day you was like living with me on the east side, and now you're a real estate mogul. Like what happened? How did you get there? Because a lot of people, they don't want to tell their story. They don't want to. That's why I like talking about, hey, I got out of prison. I started a cleaning company. I started a podcast. I started my workout journey. I want to tell people because I want these kids to know, hey, when you get out of prison, let's say you're a juvenile and you get out of prison, you don't have to go back into prison. You can start something. You can become somebody. Just pick one thing, go at that one thing hard, make some money at it, and then start following your dreams with that money that you make.
Right.
That's what I've been thinking about. That's like the thing that I've been pushing.
I'll never forget this guy, like speaking of just like rubbing off on people, but like you work with somebody that, like I remember this guy. I showed up to this job, boss wasn't there yet, but there was this guy sleeping in the car. Okay. And then the dude gets out of the car, he's putting on his sweater and all that, whatever. And I said, hey, do you work for such and such? He goes, yeah. And I go, oh, hey, I'm Eli, I'm new. And he's like, whatever. And this dude was shorter than me, fatter than me, older than me, you know what I mean? But that dude knew how to work. And he was working circles around me. Of course, he's been doing it, so I give him credit. Like, you've been doing this for a while, longer than me. Yeah. But damn, I said, you know, his work ethic was crazy. I eventually asked him why he was sleeping in the car, and that's because his child support was so crazy that he couldn't afford his house no more, you know what I mean? And so he was sleeping in the car, and he was also driving trucks, doing another job, and then getting there and then sleeping in the car and then doing this tree shit, cutting down trees. And dude was like grabbing like trunks of trees and we had like, at the time we didn't have the best equipment, so we're like taking trees and putting it on a 2-wheel dolly and like, you know, and like manhandling this shit. And I was just like, it was rough, it was kind of rough. But man, I was just like, but that dude, because he was my friend and he was never complained or whatever, I didn't want to fuck him, you know what I mean? So I would work harder because I didn't want him to kind of guilt trip me by association almost. I can't have this dude be outpacing me all the time. You know what I mean?
But that goes to show you his more, like, okay, if he's giving all his check to fucking child support, like, why is he working so hard? But that's because he's a fucking real man. He's working his ass off, not getting none of it. He could be like a slacker. He could be like, like, I mean, maybe they'd fire him because he's not doing the job. But he could probably not be working circles around everybody. He could probably work at the same pace.
He could probably chill a little bit. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but like, imagine, like, some people got it in them, bro. Some people are just like, even with no money involved, he's giving all his money to his kids, and he's still working his ass off. That's a really good ass dude.
Yeah, that's
really smart of you, like lifting up your game to try to match his, because you probably like, damn, this dude's not even fucking getting any of this, and he's working his ass off.
I mean, and then to put it, you know, like there's no excuses. This dude, I heard this guy's story. I know what the hell he's going through.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like, really, there ain't nothing I can complain about.
Yeah, you're like, oh, okay, never mind. You was gonna like call off me like, nah, never mind. I gotta go to work tomorrow. I gotta be there on time.
The funny thing is, we would both talk about quitting. You know, we would both talk about quitting all the time, and and then eventually I ended up leaving, we both agreed that he goes, man, I don't want to leave because I like our boss so much, because he's a hardworking, good dude who inspired both of us. So he's like, I can't leave him hanging, because if he doesn't have me, he's got nobody. Because if I'm not here, you're not going to be here, and if we're not here, he doesn't have a company. And so it was just kind of this whole trap. I had to like leave because I'm like, I gotta go. I can't do it no more. But yeah, I'll never forget that.
Yeah, the people that own companies like that, you guys leave, eventually they'll find somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they do.
Because like me, I got a cleaning company. I have employees and I need them every day.
Yeah.
But if they leave, I just have to put like a post on Facebook, like, hey, I'm looking for I'm looking for a new person, and I have to find a new person, and then I have to train them, and then I need that person that's there for sure. But if they decide to leave, I just have to move on, because my business is not going to close down because someone leaves.
And that's the point. Like, nobody can stop nobody, because you're not going to stop me, and I'm not going to stop you.
Yeah.
And it's funny.
It's like when you work in a factory, people be like, bro, I've been working my ass off in this factory, da da da. Who cares? The factory don't care. If you leave, they just go get a temp and they put you in a place. Like, they don't owe you nothing.
I trained my own replacement one time.
I have too.
Yeah, right. And it ain't that about a bitch, because it's like, and I remember too, because I remember exactly what happened. I'm driving a Jeep Cherokee, my shit breaks down. I'm late on my first 90-day period or whatever. So I'm late the one day, and then I think the second time was, my buddy said, hey, down at this other factory, we're making $2 more an hour. We're hiring right now. I think you should come over here. Mind you, I'm still within 90 days at this first place. And this is like an auto manufacturer type of factory type shit. And so I call off for my 90 days to go to this interview or whatever, you know what I mean? And so then that happens. And then just to come to find out, then I come back to work after that interview, and that morning they said, hey, we got this like new management program. People within 90 days can go right into management as long as blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, cool, that pays $4 more an hour. I said, shit, I might as well stay here. So, but then that day they were like, this is Brian, he's gonna be working with you, show him what you do. And mind you, when I got to that place, I was like, I felt like I was working circles around people. I was really trying. I'm like, did the same repetitive shit over and over to 8 different stations. And then the one day, then it's like 11 o'clock. They said, okay, you're going to pack up your stuff. We don't need you no more. You know what I mean? And I was like, and then they left Brian at the thing. And I was like, dude, what happened, Brian? I thought we was like this. It's like, damn. They walked me out.
Thanks, bro. Thanks for training me. I forgot to tell you, I'm replacing you.
He's like, I didn't know.
He's like, I didn't know. I thought they were gonna. And you're like, no, this is how you do my job. My job is cool. This is how you do my job. You didn't know. No, I had to train my forklift driver replacement one time, because I think I was going to another job. You know what I mean? Like I had put like my 2 weeks in, and a guy came in, and I trained him to do my job, and then I left. But I never like that. That sounds like you're like, what?
Oh, dude, what's happening?
But who's gonna do my job tomorrow? He's like, Brian. Hey,
don't worry about it. We got tons of Brians around here.
Yeah, man, that's the one thing that when I got out, I was like, I do not want to go back into the workforce for someone else. I want to start my own thing, because I don't want to have nobody to tell me what to do. I want to be able to make the endless money, however big I can grow my cleaning business.
Yeah.
I want to not be able to, okay, you're only making $27 an hour or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if I get a dirty ass rental property and it's really, really dirty, I can say, you know what, I want $50 an hour today. Mm-hmm. And if I go to rental property and it's not that bad, I say, you know what, I'll do this for $30 an hour. I can make, there's no limit to, no one can say how much money an hour I clean.
Right.
if someone hires me to clean this office, I can come in and say I'll clean it for $200, and it takes me 5 minutes, and nobody can. And then if the customer says, yeah, $200 is fine, that's great, because maybe they're a millionaire. You know what I mean? They don't care about $200.
Right.
I'll come in, dust, clean that bathroom, walk out, $200. I probably made it in 5 minutes.
Right.
$200 in 5 minutes. You know. I can't get to the point where no one ever. I didn't want to get back to the, hey, you're gonna make $25 an hour, and then someone dictates how much money I make my whole life. Yeah, I still got clients. Yeah, I still gotta go clean people's houses. I gotta be there on time. I gotta make sure I treat everybody respectful. I gotta make sure I get my, you know what I mean? The only good thing about my business is I don't gotta sell my business every day. So I come to you and I say, hey, I want to clean, or you called me, I want a house clean. I go there, I try to sell my business to you one time. If you say, yeah, I clean my house every week, I'm there every Monday. I'm cleaning your house every Monday. And I sold it to you one time. And for the rest, until you fire me, I'm going to clean your house every Monday.
Right.
So I just got to be nice to you when I go there and clean your house, and be respectful and treat your house like it's my house, and make sure nothing gets stolen, none of your animals go out, make sure that the doors are locked when I leave. I got responsibilities, you know what I mean? But I don't gotta keep selling I don't gotta keep hoping for someone to call me tomorrow to clean the house. No, my shit's like a built-in, like almost like a Netflix subscription model.
No, I love that. I mean, that's really where it's at nowadays, because it's like, wow, yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that's a great model to go on.
Yeah.
I was gonna mention that I was gonna mention I was working at FedEx. You ever work at a FedEx?
Yeah, I did. I worked at UPS.
UPS. Okay,
Yep.
so I got a job there during holiday season. I think they were I'm pretty sure I remember it being like around $12 an hour. That's what they were paying, and maybe holiday pay was like 13. This is pre-COVID and shit, right? Yeah. And all I know is they do this test where they stick you in a trailer by yourself, and they see how many packages you can load within a 2-hour period.
They time you.
They time you, right? They time you.
Yeah.
So then all I remember is it took me an hour to load a semi, and then it took another hour to load a second semi. So I'm like 2 hours, 12 times 12 is 24. Taxes ain't even been taken out yet. And I go, let's just say they gave me $18 after taxes. I go, I just filled 2 fucking semis for $18. Right? That don't make no damn sense. But if you don't know how to get your own bread, that's what you're stuck with.
Yeah.
That's what you're stuck with.
Yeah. So I think the goal is to find something that you can sell to someone in a subscription type model. Like maybe even editing videos, right? Find a few content creators that need an editing service, and you charge them, okay, say, hey, I'll edit all your videos this month for, $250 a month.
Right.
If you find 5 people that, 10 people, hey, I'll edit all your videos, your podcasts or whatever. If I edit all those for, $200 a month or something, or I don't know what the price is. Like mine, I do $100 a week. So it's $400 a month, you know what I mean? Right. And I only have this podcast. But if you can find a few podcasters to give you $400 a month, $400 a month, $400 a month, and you have a subscription, like these guys are going to be doing this podcast for the rest of their life, you work on that. Whatever you do, whatever it is, it doesn't matter what it is. I'm just throwing that out there. But anything you create, if you can create where the same client is giving you that same money every month or week, then you can create like a subscription model almost in anything.
The crazy thing for me that I thought about recently is everybody used to have a specific skill. Like I was a hat maker, he was a shoe maker, he did concrete, whatever, right? And then you take all these people with these different talents and you get them like into a community, right? In reality, in a small community, you would really only need one mechanic, wouldn't you? You know what I mean? You just need one person that knows how to tend the field, kind of,
Yeah.
depending on the kind of the scale of things, you know what I mean? So I think it's crazy that we've gotten away from these specific skills, and then people don't know what, you know, have anything of value to do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I mean, you're providing a service, you know what I mean? Services, that's why I was thinking about the word trades, like the tradesmen and women. Did that come from a trade? Because that's the only thing that I could really give you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm trading my expertise.
I think that sounds like about it, because even gold and all that was like a trading like system. So I think so, like maybe you came and did my roof, and then I would do your plumbing, or you know what I mean? I'm a plumber, you're a roofer. Or I clean your house, you come over and you do like the roof or whatever.
The crazy thing is, like, they say, you know, when you reach expert level of something, that, you know, you still charge a lot because it took a lot of time for you to figure out how to do that complicated job in a short amount of time. Like how efficiently you clean and flip a house. Be like, hey, you're paying for it, you don't got to worry about it. You're paying for the job getting done every time, you know what I mean? And, you know, so I don't know, I think that's interesting that...
Yeah, that is.
You could, you know, providing quality work, and maybe if people... I don't know, like I kept thinking about that mechanic thing. I go, man, you know, if it was just me and my family and our cars, couldn't one of us know how to fix a car?
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Couldn't one of us know how to, right?
Yeah. And I think maybe like back in the day when there were smaller villages, there was only like one little town. There was one town mechanic, one town dentist. Like, go to Wallbridge, right? Just go to Wallbridge. There's one gas station, there's one bank, there's one pizzeria, there's one dentist. The thing is, we got so big, and now there has to be a mechanic, but like let's say you were, you know, you and your wife, and you had 7 sons, right? One of your sons could be a mechanic, one of your sons could do this, and then you could have a team of, like, kind of like the Angie's List thing you're saying, right? Yeah. Like the Angie's List thing, like, or even my sponsors. This is the Pitbull guy that right there is the Needle Masters, right? So he did my tattoo, Needle Masters, right here. So I promote him. I can't really get another sponsor, another tattoo shop, because I already got one tattoo shop. That's the one that sponsored me. That's the one that I recommend people to, you know. Another tattoo shop, I can't really recommend them right now because I'm locked in with that one. That's who did my tattoo. That's who, you know what I mean? Right. But like that, like you said, Angie's List, that would be cool, because like this is kind of like what my Angie's List, like through my podcast. Yeah. She sponsors me through Avon. That's the if anybody wants to buy any pit bulls, and if anybody wants to tattoo. But I would love to have a gym. I would love to have like a mechanic shop. I would love to have a restaurant, so I can have like my little, little Angie's List type deal.
These are all, you know your recommendations, you know, and stuff. And I think what kind of trips people up, I guess, is like, I heard this, like Drake. I don't know if this is true or not. I heard Drake only does songs with people he wants to do songs with, right? And that kind of creates some value there, because not everybody gets to. You can't buy to be a feature on a Drake song, you know what I mean? You have to be asked. So kind of in a sense too, where it's like, you know, nobody's necessarily buying these promotions. These are things that, you know, you either recommend for the time being. Of course, there's probably lots of good tattoo shops in town, and everybody should get the opportunity to be on your show, but at the end of the day, it's your discretion. That's where your value relies in what you do, your subscribers and all that stuff.
No, and I would have let any tattoo shop come and sit down with me and talk. You know what I mean? But I can't let, you know, another one sponsor me unless that one, you know, says, "Hey, Yogi, we're done." And then I'll be looking for another tattoo shop to help me out. Because the thing is, I want the people to believe in me, and I want to believe in them. So if they come to me and say, "Hey, Yogi, I want to help you sponsor because I believe in your podcast, I believe in your work, I believe in your stuff," then you know, and I went there and he gave me a tattoo, and I believe in them because they believed in me type deal.
Yeah.
I want it to be like a mutual thing. I don't want no one to just throw me money and then like, oh, like Coca-Cola. I don't even drink Coca-Cola. I wouldn't want Coca-Cola to sponsor me. Maybe because I need the money, but that's not something that I don't want people to be like, oh, drink Coca-Cola. I want it to be like something more in like my field, more health, fitness,
Right.
positive, you know, being more of a good person and or like the good side, like you said in the beginning.
And I think it's important in this day and age that it's really important right now for us to be supporting good businesses, because there's too many bad businesses, and we got to stop giving money to the bad stuff. So like if we can spend our money locally or with the right people or for the right stuff, you know, I think that'll help us create a better world. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think a lot of our money should stay in Toledo, local Toledo businesses, because the thing is, these big corporate companies, they don't care about shit. They just care about profits, money, and who knows what they're doing with that money. That money could be doing all kinds of bad shit all over the world. You know what I mean?
Right.
We don't really know. We gotta focus on a small coffee shop here in Toledo, this and that, instead of these big ass corporate places, because all they want is profit, and they keep making food worse and worse and worse just to make more and more and more money.
Right. It's kind of the unfortunate circumstances of things right now, and some emergency going on.
Yeah, shit's going on.
But you know, well, I guess we're just trying our best here. But I think it's super important for us to talk about this stuff, because if we're not talking about it, you know, we have no opportunity to do anything about it, right?
Yeah. This is our first conversation. And then hopefully we can have many more conversations, you know what I mean? But like, I don't know. I was just like, I know that I wanna keep opening the door for local people like you too. I don't want it to just be artists, and I want it to be like local, and I want to grow here in Toledo. And I know that you guys have that Facebook page and those groups. So I want to give people the opportunity to come on here and talk, and I really appreciate you coming on and talking. And then I also I want to know a little bit about the city paper, and maybe I could put my logo in there one day and advertise and stuff like that. So we don't have to talk about it right now, but maybe me and you can like maybe have a further conversation, you know, through messaging. Because I want to grow my podcast, man, especially here in Toledo. I don't want to grow it just like social media, like, you know, all over YouTube. I don't care. I want to focus on growing it here in Toledo, so people in Toledo can know that I have a, you know, podcast and I interview local people.
Right.
Yeah.
Certainly let's talk about that. I think, you know, it's a great Toledo City paper, or your own social media, you know, keeping it local and just staying relevant, I think, is the name of the game. I like working at the Toledo City paper because they're really connected with the community and what's happening and stuff like that. So that's a great way. But ultimately, it's about building your brand and like being in people's faces and having the merch and growing it in Toledo. I mean, you're one of the few podcasts that I know of in town. I know a handful of them, but as far as that's kind of touching the bases that you are, I think you got something good going on here. So I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, thank you, brother.
Thank you so much, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. All right, thank you guys so much for watching this week's Big Yogi'Z Garage. Make sure you follow Eli Toledo on social media. He has a group. It's called Cool Stuff.
Cool Stuff Toledo, Ohio is a Facebook page. And then we got a real cool Facebook group called Historic Toledo, Then and Now, on Facebook.
Yeah, make sure you follow those pages. And we'll see you next week on Big Yogi'Z Garage. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you subscribe and like. Thank you. Let's go.